Yo, disclaimer, we don't take ourselves seriously, neither should you.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the first time or again. I don't know where you're coming from.
Also, sorry for the really obnoxious, hi at the beginning, but
Something that I've been coming to the conclusion about, maybe it's because I'm like single now and I'm just kind of like thinking about the person that I'm presenting. It's like, I don't think we should overthink if that's the way we talk, they're either going to like us or they're not going to like us. But it's like, we shouldn't change that, because we just inevitably will end up being the people that we are. So just get it going from like the start. And if,
That's true. Also, speaking of getting it going from the start, it's your friendly disclaimer time. Sorry if we're politically incorrect.
I don't care.
Sorry if we swear.
I don't care.
She doesn't care. I'm trying to be the balanced one in this situation. So basically, we're not trying to be rude. We're not trying to be dicks. We're not trying to be offensive. We just say what we want when we want. Danny.
We're like the odd couple. You're the
this
one
is
who's
what
like...
I have to put up with, people.
No, it's why they love us. We're the odd couple. Where you're the... No, it's why we balance each other out. Yeah, basically what she said. Don't take offense, and if you do, sorry. Sorry, I should let you talk. Sorry. Luna's gonna say.
Luna's just trying to say that we love you, we love each other, we love people, we love plants, we love animals, we love it all basically. So please don't take anything that we say too seriously. Anything that we say is our opinions. Any information that we say is information that we have found or we believe. It's not necessarily like
correct
the gospel truth, so to speak.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's like, if you're taking us seriously.
Unless you talk to Danny with her Pisces ass and she's like, everything I say is right.
Look, I don't know why we needed to go to personal jabs there, okay? You're clearly quite hurt by what I was saying.
But am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. That's cool.
Exactly. It's
on
record. Everyone pay attention to that. Anyway.
I am who I am,
Damn right you are. And you're fucking beautiful.
Oh my gosh, right? No, I am. Thank you. You're beautiful too. We're not even that deep into the wine. This is my first drink. Except for when I was like posing for my Instagram story and I was just drinking straight from the bottle. Speaking of Instagram stories, before we got onto this call, you had posted on your personal one, not your personal, but your own one, not the Blahdidah, about you drawing some cards, and I'd kind of done that thing where she posts a photo of the cards and then she like flips them and gives the interpretations later, and I had picked one and then she told me I couldn't fucking read my card until we were on the pod, so here we are.
She has to read it right here.
What I'm gonna do,
even though by the time that this is posted it's not going to be there, but still we're getting like the reaction. We'll post a photo of it somewhere.
Get hyped for like when she does it again, so you can be involved. This is an example of I'm not good with technology. No, I'm fine. Okay.
Oh, don't even start me with technology. I have to work from home now.
How's that going?
Do you understand how difficult that is for me?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I can understand.
Actually, yes, she does, because I don't know how to do anything when it comes to phones or computers. All I know how to do is text, Facebook, and Instagram, and even then, it's very basic.
It took us
very
a second
basic.
To get on Zoom. All right, so this is
by a second you mean like an hour and a half. Anyway, yes, Danny, go. Sorry, my bad.
Look, I didn't want to say it. You said it though. This is what she posted. So I don't know if y'all can see that very well because my laptop computer is really not good. But she posted 3 cards. I picked the top middle one. And so now I'm gonna scroll through her story and see what it says. I'm gonna try and read slowly because y'all should know by now that I talk so fast. Oh, so much System of a Down and Used. Is this like people recommending you songs or you got some emo fucking friends, man? Like, yeah.
Did you see my fucking? Have you met me? Like,
yeah, no, a few times, and I've also met your friends. They're emo as fuck. Like, I love them. That's why I get along with them so well.
My friends are your friends. What can I say? We're all fucking friends. We're all a big family. I don't believe in like having like friends. If you're my friend, you're an extension of me. Therefore, you are my family.
We are all connected. All right. So card 1. Okay. So. Is that why you're laughing? Because you know I think the top middle card. Okay, so for people that are up to date with me and my life, you'd know why this is like funny if you're into tarot cards, or you know, you're getting an education right now. Like,
it's literally one of those situations that we are talking about and that we're going to talk about, and we will always reference. You got to laugh or cry.
Yeah.
And
no, I drew this card for me a couple episodes ago. Let's just read it. I'm going to try and read it in my best Luna voice. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
All right. Central card. The Tower. In brackets, sorry. Life is testing you, throwing you curveballs and really just being a challenge. It all happened in what feels like no time, giving you very little time to make a choice, let alone the right choice about what your next move should be. Having said this, the change isn't necessarily a bad one, just unexpected and to a certain level unexplainable. Your intuition will guide you in your choice. It's fight or flight for you now. Like, I feel like my intuition knew that the tower was there, and I was like, yeah, me. Like, it's not any information that was like new to me. It's just like anytime the tower is around right now, I just gravitate towards it because it's just, but I'm cool with it. I'm taking it in my stride. For the people who don't know tarot cards a lot, like the tower is one of those cards that's like very deep, dramatic change and kind of like a dethroning kind of card, which can be taken in a positive or negative light. Most of the times it's a negative light, but I
often think of the tower card and like its meaning. Like, obviously, like before I wrote it on there, I said like sorry, but I mean, having said that, it's kind of like the devil card. Like, it isn't, or that, no, not the devil card.
I'm going to pull up some visuals while you're talking about this because I feel like the photo
it's not
of it
necessarily
was just not big enough.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just in a little thing. I was just like, let's give people visuals because now we're just talking about stuff and they're like, Danny, why? Like, what? All right, go on.
But like, yeah, it's not necessarily a negative card, even though it has a lot of negative connotations. Like, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but like at least 50%, if not like just over 50% of the time, those cards are signifying a significant shift in your life. That could be negative, but it could also be positive. It probably is positive. It's just disguised as a negative, which is something that I've gotten a lot of recently. But I mean,
what card did you pick? What?
I didn't pick because I read my cards the night before, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going through maybe a little bit of a mental breakdown, maybe a little bit of a crisis.
Let's go.
Let's go now. But there's a situation in my life, like I'm a very in my head kind of person. I spend a lot of time up here when realistically I shouldn't. Like, it's bad for me in every single possible fucking way. And I realize this, yet I'm still in there a lot. And so if I haven't been in my head for a while, over the top in my head anyway, and then something small like triggers me, I will like go running into my head, and there is no way to fucking stop that. And it's just like everything is just happening like tenfold. A lot of it is to do with my mental illness, but a lot of it is also just to do with the fact that I'm a fucking psycho. But yeah, and so like tarot is a really big part of my life, but it comes in waves for me. Like, and I want to get not necessarily on top of it in the sense that like I need to do it more, but I want to be able to use it more as a tool instead of just like a get out of jail free card, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get
So
what you mean.
So last night I was really just like in my head, and I sent Danny a message at like 10 to midnight being like, can you draw a card for me? Like right now. And she did. And at the time, because I was so in my head about it, I couldn't actually, like, even though the cards that she drew for me were actually really fucking positive, like, because I was just so in here instead of actually like taking a deep breath and like viewing the situation from an objective point of view, which was the whole point of getting her to read my cards as well. So I didn't like overshadow that. I just saw something in those cards that I didn't want, even though they were positive cards. And then I read my cards myself. And then, of course, because I was like, again, in my head, like influencing the cards in a way, if you will. I know if you don't believe in tarot or you don't like see the benefits of tarot, this all sounds like a load of bullshit to you. And like, that's fair. That's your opinion. But this is our opinion. This is our podcast. So fuck you. And this is how it's going to be.
Not to offend anyone. But fuck you. Luna.
Literally me in a fucking nutshell though. Am I right? Not trying to offend anyone, but seriously, fuck you. You need to listen to me and reevaluate your priorities. Also, I love you all, but yeah. She's laughing because it is me. Don't bring my star sign into this. I know I brought yours into this, but this is not about my star sign. But
go on. Just go on. Just keep talking, Luna.
I'm having a time. I'm having a real hard time right now, as you can probably tell, because I'm a fucking mess. But yeah, so when I drew my cards and like I sent them to Danny or Dan, whichever one you want to call her, whichever one she wants to associate with more at the moment, because it's both. It's interchangeable for me. You've said that that's okay. So
yeah,
I'm a this way and that way, but yeah, so when I drew my cards, yes, I was like kind of projecting onto them, which I shouldn't have been. But even then, they were still like pretty positive. Like when I look over it, like obviously, yes, at the beginning it wasn't great because I usually anyway, when I read my cards, I do 1, 2, 3. I don't just do like one. But then again, with this reading, I was like, right, I'm just going to draw one card. And so I did draw one card. And off the top of my head right now, I can't remember what cards I drew. But we'll put them in the description if you really want to know. Probably won't care. But I drew one. And then I drew the second one for more clarity. And then I drew the third one as like a result. And the result was positive. And the clarity was actually helpful. And it was just, I don't know. It's a lot. Tarot cards are a lot sometimes, and especially when you draw them yourself for yourself, like that's actually probably something that I don't recommend doing, especially if you're already in an emotionally heightened situation.
No, I find it like, really hard to read myself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, I need you to read this for me. And that's why, again, like I've done what I did again with the reading that was on my Instagram, because I find when I read other people's cards, as like challenging as that is for me emotionally, like it does take a lot out of you physically when you actually like connect with your cards properly. Again, if this sounds like bullshit to you, not my fucking problem. But when you connect with your cards and you like read them properly as they're meant to be read, like it's a lot of fucking energy. It's a lot of work, but it's good. It's not a bad thing. It's just a lot. But when I do that for other people, it's a different balance of power. Like, I feel like I'm almost, in a way, like I'm giving to other people, but by giving to other people, I'm recharging myself, because that's just how I am as a human. Like, I don't know. I was speaking to someone today on my Instagram about this, and they were like, that's such a fucking Libra thing to do. And it's just like, I mean, I feel attacked, but like attacked in a good way, because it is. I mean, Libras are just great. What can I say? We're just the best.
I'm gonna let you have it. I'm about to start a fight with you. Just real quickly, I'm gonna show you what the tower looks like, just so that y'all can see how like violent looking some of these cards can get. And these aren't even like the most violent like sets of cards that I have. There are some that are like, some decks are insane, you know. But this is the Rider-Waite.
And this is your deck, right?
This is the two that I have. So this is the Rider-Waite, which is what every deck is kind of based on. So all the kind of decks, like this is kind of one of the considered to be the original ones. And all the symbolic stuff that you see in most of the imagery is based off the stuff in the Rider-Waite tarot deck. So that's the OG. And I'm
pretty sure that deck originated in like the fucking like 13th century or something like that. Don't quote me again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like
medieval
really
shit, like
really old.
That's my second deck, which is the Ink and Intuition one. And just to make things happier, this is the Star, because she wants to come and hang out. I pulled her out and she's just so pretty. What a babe. Look at her. So she's just going to hang out on my laptop while we're here.
I fucking love her.
Something that really, I got my first tarot deck, I think I was when I was living in America, maybe. I'm not sure. It was a few years ago. And it was before I really got into it. But when I started getting into it, it was actually what drew me to continue doing it was not so much, it wasn't the spiritual intuition side that really got me going with tarot. I kind of approached it much more in a way that it helped me like psychologically, because, and when I'm reading people, like my friends, I don't really do like readings for people unless I'm hanging out with my friends. I don't really be like, these are the cards and this is what I see. Because the way that I started reading tarot was that they're very symbolic. So even if, and this was my thinking at the start that I kind of eased my way in, is like, even if a card isn't meant to come out, when you see it, there's going to be some symbolism that resonates with you. Or I would always say to people, like, explain to me what is happening in that picture. And they might see, well, this girl's pouring water into this pool. Or this girl has got lots of stars around her. And that is always going to come back to whatever is going on with them. They're going to pull apart and identify with symbols. They're going to be like, oh, there's this lizard, and that really reminds me of this thing in their life. And the way, like the spreads that I did, it's like, this is your past and this is your future and this is what's troubling you. It was like, it kind of helped me when I first started reading myself just to categorize my thoughts. That made sense. Because I did spreads that were like the Celtic cross and things like that, where it was like past, present, hopes and fears and things around you. And even if I didn't agree with what the cards said, it kind of gave me clarity on what was going on in that aspect of my life. Because if something came up and like, that's my hopes or fears, and I'd be like, no, my hopes are this and my fears are this. I'm such a mess with my thoughts that I just feel. Like, all I do is feel, and I struggle to like understand why I'm upset. I really struggle to understand why I'm feeling anything. And what tarot cards gave me was like a lot of clarity. So I could always kind of look at things and be like, do I agree or do I not agree? And in that process, it just helped me understand what I was going through mentally. And that on its own helped me. And then of course I started going down my own spiritual journey, and things got intense, and then all my dreams and wishes started coming true.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing with like tarot as well. Everyone's like, oh, tarot is so wrong. Like, it's like, that's not like what like I want in my life, or that's not what it is. Like, that's not the situation. It's like, well, to be fair, like, and I mean, it's totally each person to their own. But the way that I see tarot is like, so, you know how when you were a kid, you'd like draw something in the sand, and then if you didn't like it, you'd like smudge it away. Yeah. And then you'd like redraw what you wanted to draw, basically. that's how I see tarot. I see it as this is a path that you can take, and if you take this path, you will end up going this way. If for whatever reason, though, you don't like that, then you don't have to take that path. But this is going to be a path that is more likely than not going to happen in your life unless you do something drastically different to change that. Like, absolutely. I mean, I've even had situations with like tarot where things haven't happened exactly like the cards have necessarily predicted, but it's been like up to a point. It's been basically same. But then I've made that decision, or I've kind of like changed the direction that I was going in without sounding too fucking cringy. But oh yeah, swearing as well. But yeah, like, and then everything shifted and everything's changed, and it's not how the cards predicted. But that's the thing, the cards aren't there to predict your future. They are there to guide you to possible outcomes. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Some things, yes, will definitely happen, but I don't think that's because of tarot. I think that's because of something deeper, but I don't think that's like, I don't know. But again, even that in itself is open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tarot can show you what the universe is potentially have in store for you, but what the universe actually has in store for you is basically an unknown, unless you're in like your last life. If you're in your last life, then I think the tarot can predict absolutely everything for you. But again, that's just me. That's just how I see things.
Yeah, true. Fuck. I hadn't even thought about things like a last life. For me, I'm like things like I can't say yes or no to anything. So things like God, you could say that it's not real. You could say that it is. I'm not going to say it's not real, and we're not going to say that it is, but I'm open to the possibility that it is. I'm also open to the possibility that it's not. So things like with like science that people tell me, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm totally down with the possibility or the fact that that's real. I'm also down with the fact that maybe someday, at some point, it's not for some reason. And that's how I am with tarot.
Well, that's the thing.
It could be not.
You have to be adaptable.
It could be yes. Like, it's just like,
yeah.
I don't care either way. If it's something that brings me comfort, it's something that brings me clarity in a world where there is like so much discomfort and so much like fog. Like I'm down with whatever is going to make me a slightly happier person, because every time I'm slightly happier, I approach all of my family and my friends in a slightly happier mood, and it makes them slightly happier. And that's what matters to me, is that like all my tiny interactions with myself and the people in my life just kind of spread like coronavirus, okay? And everyone's just that tiny little bit happier in their day, and they make the other people in their life. Why did you have to use that as an because analogy? I think it's a very poignant metaphor right now, okay? Because it's spreading like wildfire, and I feel like kindness is the same thing. If you just approach the people in your life just slightly happier, it's going to make their day even the tiniest bit happier. So the next person that they meet, it's going to make them the tiniest bit happier. And you might think that that's nothing, but that's something. I think that's big.
Also,
it's everything to me.
Just to shout out to this wine. This is a really fucking good wine.
Keep going on about the wine. I need to open my window. I'm like sweating. This is ridiculous. Whew.
Yeah, it's a really great wine. It's called Butterball, and that's why I was attracted to this wine, because I'm a bitch who loves her butter. And it's white, which is unusual for me because I don't normally like white. But it's vegan, and it's from Margaret River, and it's 2018, and pretty great. I would rate this wine.
I think I accidentally threw it back on cam. I'm so sorry, guys. They had to see me in like my trackies, but that's cool. We're both in trackies. You're in trackies right now. Don't act like you're not in lockdown and in trackies, everyone. Whatever.
What are you talking about? Look at my perfectly
you
made
are
up
perfect.
face and like
you are
my
perfect.
I am not. Stop it. That was a joke. Why do you always?
Why do I make it real and tell you how perfect you are? That's what I do.
I love how when you compliment Dan, she's like, I'm the best. Like, yes, I am perfect. Yes, I'm amazing. And then you do that to me, and I'm like,
You did that to me a while
I'm
ago,
gonna
though, the
avoid
other day.
this.
You made it too real, and I just started panicking. I'm going to get on the wines too, but you know I need to make myself like a wine cocktail to make this. But it wasn't too bad. I think this wine's really sweet when I was drinking it straight from the
You and
bottle
your
from before.
goddamn wine cocktail, honestly.
I just like making
Like,
life
does
a little bit
anyone-
more complicated than it needs to be. That's all it is. That's that's my thing, making shit more complicated than it needs to be.
Fucking same though. Does anyone remember from last pod? I mean, honestly, it shouldn't be too hard to remember because it's just the one you watched before this. But Danny was like, let me put like lemonade and like wine in the same fucking drink together.
Lemonade,
who
wine,
does that?
juice. I'm about to add it again. Let's go. I'm making a sweet, delicious drink.
Honestly, who are you?
Isn't that basically sangria though? Like, don't they do the same thing with like juice and lemonade and red wine? Isn't that sangria?
Is red wine.
Yeah, and
juice. It has no lemonade. It has
lemonade.
What the fuck was that?
That's a lemonade.
It has no lemonade in it. It is just, it's like
so funny.
mulled wine but cold. Shut up, all right? Shut the front door. But no, it's just like mulled wine minus the heat. And mulled wine, I can tell you right now, does not have lemonade in it.
I'm cringing because of the wine, not because of the lemonade. The lemonade and the juice are the best parts of that. It's this wine, like this awful alcohol taste at the end that I'm like, not about.
Hashtag try my wine that says that's Butterball. Like, how good is that for a name?
How much
wine?
is it?
Like Butterball.
How much is it though?
I don't know.
You're bougie as fuck, huh? Hold on, how much? Did you say 10?
Like $20.
Okay,
I said
fucked.
20.
Get fucked. You think I'm gonna spend more than $9 on wine? Like, you're gonna spend more than double that on wine? No.
That's like standard price for a decent bottle of wine.
Yeah, head down to Aldi, all right, and you get whatever Sauv Blanc they have. Like, that's me.
Okay, does Aldi have vegan wine?
Because you know what, they probably do. They probably do.
You know what? Do you want to mail me a bottle of this Aldi vegan wine? And
I'll do it as soon as you mail me some
Live.
Butterball. Like, let's go.
Okay, all right. We'll fucking do this. We'll have a wine-off on Instagram Live. You try my Butterball. Isn't that what we do
every episode? Is a wine-off?
We'll do this on Instagram Live, and then we haven't fucking even done anything on Instagram
Live. Okay. And will that also be when we make my Tinder?
Yes. Does anyone else remember the entirety of last episode? How we were like, let's make Dan a Hinge. Let's make Dan a Tinder. Let's do a whole dating app thing over Instagram Live. Do you know what this bitch does? She goes and makes every single dating app except Tinder with some other hoe. Obviously, this other hoe is a lovely friend of yours who I'm not trying to be offensive towards whatsoever. But, I mean, you did also say that, like, you were going to do it with me. And so maybe I'm slightly offended just a little bit. But, you know, I wanted to break that. I wanted to have that experience with you. I need having that experience with me.
I need to spit you some straight facts right now, Luna. Okay. So it wasn't last episode. It was the episode before. And I was like, yes. Second episode. I'm like, I'm bored. Can we do this? And she's like, nah, we'll wait until we're doing this and the podcasts are up and we'll do the Instagram Live. Bitch, that could be weeks. I am bored. I am so bored. And I saved it. I saved the Tinder for you. You know, I saved the Tinder for you. Tinder's a whole new thing. Tinder's its own thing, all right? We're going to do that. You're going to write my bio. You're even going to be the one who tells me what to say to all these boys. You can, whatever you say, if you want me to say the most ridiculous things when I message people, we're going to do that. We're going to live stream the reactions. Like, don't think that you're missing out on anything. I'm just bored, Luna. I'm bored.
You know how much of a control freak I am, so you absolutely, like, fucking nailed me with that. Like, I love the fact that you're letting me do that, but I'm also still mad that you did all those other apps without me.
I'm sorry. I'm so bored. Babe, like, I'm so bored. Like,
It
I've had
also
so many
tells
mental
who's
breakdowns.
dealing with this isolation better. Out of the two of us.
Do we want to make that a competition right now? Do we want to? Because I don't
Mate,
know
bring
how
it on.
it'll go. I don't know how it'll go actually. Anyways,
You'll lose.
before we jump back into dating apps and like we talk about that, because now we can, because now I'm dipping a toe into dating again after almost like 10 years of not knowing what the fuck that looks like.
Do you know how funny that would be for you though? Like,
It's
last
hilarious.
time you like dated, you would have like been doing it old school, like phone.
It wasn't a
or
thing.
like
You
email.
meet people
even.
in real life. I worked at a cafe
IRL.
and boys
is
came
that?
and like they talked to me at the cafe because I was like a barista girl. Like that's how it happened. And now like yeah. But quickly, before we get into the dating stuff, we'll get there. A couple of episodes ago, or last episode, I mentioned Tarotverse, and I linked you some of that stuff the other night when you were like having a time. What did you think?
Literally last night.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking amazing.
Right?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like that. To be honest, I wasn't paying attention to what this man's name was.
I don't know his name. He doesn't say his name.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like if you have an affiliation with tarot of any sort, even if you don't, you know what? Put it in the fuck it bucket. Like, honestly, listen to one of his videos. Like, yeah, legit link below. We'll do every single fucking star sign for the month that it is right now. As of next month, can't tell you. But as of this time right now, when this is being like compiled into one thing, we will link those links. I'll find them. Daddy will edit it and put it all together because she's better with technology than I am, as we've clearly talked about before. Basically, I'm just here to look pretty and she does all the work. But, you know, I mean...
We are the odd couple in that way.
But I mean, you're gorgeous. So it's not like we're... like you just do like way more work than I do. I just do nothing because I can do nothing.
You do come up with the talking points. Don't think she's doing nothing. Like I'm just kind of like, let's do a pod, and then she's like, no, let's actually do it now because I've been talking about it for like how many years, and she's like, no, Danny, can we do it now? And the talking points, she's really good at it as well because I'm just like, so we're a good balance.
She's just like. Yeah, classic Pisces, wanting to like chat about shit all day, which is totally fine. But like when you, I don't know. Anyway, continue what you were saying. I love you.
I love you. When I came across Tarotverse, it was because our mutual friend linked me to it. And like it was just I kind of sat on it for a while. I didn't really think about it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I got 10 minutes. I can do it. And like it was just so spot on. And then it was just it was crazy. And it's just like, even if it wasn't super accurate, it was just really comforting. It's just what I needed to hear at the time. He's really, really good at that kind of stuff. He's got really awesome looking decks. Like they're just so insane. Yes. And the way that it's taught me a lot about reading as well, because I'd always do a certain spread, but he's really got me reading in a different way. It's like, all right, this is representing me, and this is representing the situation, and this is the theme, and then going into things like this is what's happening on a conscious level, and then the subconscious, like what's happening underneath, like what's going on, and clarifying cards. I never used to have like what would I use a card to clarify, and he really does that with the like the pages and the knights and the kings and queens. He'll always clarify, and it's just little things like that. I'm just learning how to read better, and I'm learning different meanings better, and he's just so comforting and just so good, and it's just like he's just great. Yeah. So
well, that's the thing as well. Like, I mean, you learned that from him, but then when we started reading together, I learned that from you. Like, I would never do like clarifying cards. I would always be like your traditional like past, present, future, or like maybe a fuller spread, but I'd never do like, if I was unsure about a specific card in any way, I'd never like delve deeper into that. I'd just be like, oh, like right now I don't understand that, but eventually I will. And like, Yeah, did the screen just go blank?
Yeah, for a
Or was
sec.
that just my screen?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so that was just because my battery is dying, but you know what? That's fine.
Do you need to plug in your phone? Don't you dare let this die right now. You go get your charger.
See.
Go get your charger. Luna's gonna get her charger. Yeah, Luna's
So
gonna get her
my
charger.
sound quality is gonna go like down by like 100%. Just letting you know, but it's fine because I'll be plugged in.
Luna's gonna get her charger. Luna's gonna get. Oh yeah, because she's got an iPhone, and like most phones nowadays, it's like the one input. We as a species do not have one input. I was too drunk to do this, but neither should our technology. Okay. Yes. Oh, what have I done? My parents are gonna be ashamed of me.
I can hardly hear you though.
Just wait. How about now? But how about now? And the visuals gone video. All right. How about now? But how about now? Sound check. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Say something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Luna is the best. I'm just gonna talk about one show that I watched on Netflix and I didn't think I'd be obsessed with, but I totally am. But you know, Cheer on Netflix is fucking. I cried my eyes out. Oh,
watch someone who's not good at technology. Oh, I made it work.
Yay!
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Now I can actually hear you at a somewhat
Awesome.
like decent level. I'm just hoping that that's charging because I think it is, but you never know. Sorry that my sound shit, and I'm so sorry that you're having to see my face like this close.
You are beautiful. You are more beautiful the closer you are to us. Because I get a closer view.
I really
fucking beauty. No, yes, we do. I love that even your headboard is fucking emo. Like you're everything about your aesthetic is just always so fitting.
Emo? I'm not emo.
Never, ever.
What? You're the one who called me a fucking e-girl? Like, isn't that what it is now? Isn't it no longer emo? It's an e-girl. So I'm like so on trend.
You are. It's a compliment. I don't know why you're getting upset about it. I'm talking about how everything you do is put together. Have you seen my fucking room? I'm never calling it. When did I say it's a bad thing? That you're bringing that to this. This is some Freudian shit. You're bringing that to this. Fuck. Drink some wine. Just drink some wine. Oh my god.
Do you see how she bullies me? She fucking bullies me.
Are you kidding me? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a fucking bullying compilation. It's gonna start with that clip and it's gonna be followed by all the times you fucking rag on me. That's what that shit's gonna be. You just set yourself up. I'm the one that does the editing. Oh, I'm so ready. All right.
Sorry, you probably see my trackheads.
No, I didn't. I had my eyes shut. They probably will though. All right.
Great.
So
Can't fucking walk.
What? I missed all of that.
That's fine. It wasn't important. Continue on.
So now that
unless you're calling me emo again, then shut the fuck up.
all I heard was shut the fuck up, and I was like, okay. Cool. She's in a mood. You're fussy. Look who's fucking fussy now. Shit.
Oh, don't start with me. Don't start with me.
God, I'm dead. Oh my God. Okay. So let's making fun of me. Is that what that is?
I just want to drink my wine. Stop making me laugh. I just want to drink my wine.
Okay, all right, so let's talk. Let's move on. Let's move on, because I'm sure this is fun for us. But us just laughing at ourselves and what we think is funny, I don't think is as entertaining for other people. So let's talk about...
just like, what the fuck are they doing? basically.
Hopefully, people would have learned now that this is a lot more entertaining if they drink along with us. And if you don't know that, now you know. For the following episodes, drink along with us. If you haven't been drinking from this point on, start drinking if you're over 18 or over 21 or wherever it's legal for you to drink. I am not okay with underage drinking. I need to say that like a few times. I'm not okay with it. We are not okay with it. We do not condone.
We are not supporting or condoning that activity, even though we may have potentially done those things when we were younger. We have learned from that experience. We are wiser, we are older, we are more mature. Therefore, do not do that.
We are adults and we get to do whatever the fuck we want, okay? So, if you're an adult...
we have to pay fucking tax, which is fucking bullshit. Yeah. That's a whole other fucking episode that we may or may not have.
We'll see how drunk we get. So let's talk about dating apps, because this is like it was a rude awakening for me, all right? When I got on that. Firstly, like, I have to pick all these photos and I just like, all I have is selfies, right? So that's
all
the thing.
you need.
But like, okay, so I'm not sure what girls look like on dating apps. Do they all have selfies as well? Because when I look, like, guys don't take a lot of selfies, or if they do, it's like mirror selfies or like whatever. And then they look like they're posing a lot, and I'm not really into the guys that are like posing. I think it's a bit of like a double standard where I'm like, I'm clearly like posing and looking cute in my photos, but I don't really like guys that are like posing and trying to look like attractive in their photos, because I feel like that comes off in a certain way where I'm like, I don't like that. That's a weird double standard that I'm not okay with, but it exists in my mind. So whatever. Do you feel the same way?
Society. Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about guys that are like in a photo?
Well, I mean, look, I don't care if you're posing in a photo, but if your face is like I'm probably not going to swipe right. I'm probably going to swipe left as fast as I possibly can.
But you're doing that in most of your photos. Like, you're hitting like...
But you know what?
Yeah, it is. It's
I might angle my head in a certain direction in every single photo that I have on my Tinder, but that's because that's how my face looks cute.
Yeah. I get it. I think it is a very cruel double standard where girls are allowed to be posing and trying to deliberately look cute for photos. Exactly. And as soon as a guy attempts to be doing that, like, it's not really a thing, at least. But I'm sure there are girls that are like, yes, I'm really into that, like, he looks really cute and I'm really into these guys that are trying to look cute. I'm sure they're out there. So the girls that are into that, they can like that. What I was not prepared...
You're a better person than we are. If you like that and you're like open about liking that,
you're a different person. I don't want to say anyone's better or worse. You're different. But what I'm grateful for is that there are people that are into that for those people, because I'm not. And I'm also grateful for people that are into when guys post photos of them shirtless, standing on a cliff with a huge like ocean background, like they just did a massive hike, or quickly followed by like them in suits with all their boys at the races. Like,
I'm not about that.
Ooh,
I'm not about that. About the suits, not about the races. Not about the races. That's a whole other thing for me.
See, I'm glad that you are happy with the suits, because like, honestly, 98% of the profiles I come across, they're all in their suits, and I get it. You're dressed up, you look good, you're trying to present yourself in like the best looking way possible. But you know me, like, I don't really, when I dress up, it's still super cash, because that's just like how I am, you know. Like, I'm just like not really into like wearing that kind of stuff. Like, I wore a dress and like the tiniest heels for my sister's hands because I care so much about her. I want to, but like, it was still so cash, because I really just, like, I used to be into like that and dresses all the time, but I'm just not. So anytime I see suits, like, I'm just so pressured into needing to fit into that scene, or I assume that they're in that scene a lot, and I just like, I'm not. I'm really, really not. So it's very off-putting when it's guys in suits. I'm just not into it. But I get why they put it there, because they look really good and they're presenting their best selves. So I'm glad that you're into it and that some people are into it, but I'm just super not into it, and it's just all fucking suit photos.
But I guess that's then coming back down to the fact that, oh, you're so bougie that you drink $20 bottle of wine. Like, but you know, like,
everyone has different standards. Everyone has different things that they like. I like my $20 bottle of wine and men in suits every now and then. But you like men who buy you burgers and who don't shave for like 2 weeks.
Okay, so it's not about the not shaving. The only reason why I don't need someone to shave is because my last boyfriend just didn't really grow that much facial hair. I generally don't like guys with beards, or I've never dated a guy with a beard. To me, beards, okay, let's just go down this rabbit hole about beards for a second. I don't know what they feel like if you were to kiss someone with a beard. And to me, I don't understand why the fuck you would want to grow a beard, because I'm so about affection. I'm just like, I want to give you kisses everywhere. And you're just making all like a huge percentage of your like face surface area not approachable to kisses. Like, I don't understand why you would do that.
Okay, so it depends on their hair texture and how they look after their beard.
Okay.
So obviously, like, you know how with African American women and like white women and like Asian women, everyone has like different hair texture.
Yeah.
Like, we both have curly, like wavy hair, but I have a different kind of wavy hair to you because of our ethnicity.
Yeah.
It's basically the same, but facial hair. Like, some guys will have like really soft like facial hair, but their actual hair will be like 10 times coarser than what their facial hair is.
Yeah.
Whether that's just because of the texture of their hair naturally, or whether they're because wow, English, not my strong point this evening. But whether they put like product on their face, but they don't actually put product on their hair, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing with like not dry shampoo, like that sea salt shit. When you put that sea salt stuff in your hair, makes it easier to curl, but it makes it 10 times coarser. It's similar effect with like some of the products that guys use. So they'll put like 10 times the effort into their face, but then their hair, they'll just be like, oh, fuck it, who gives it an actual fuck? Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they're just lucky and facially it's all sweet, as well as their hair being good. I don't know. I'm not a dude. I'm not a dude. Wow, I really can't talk.
No, I had a guy friend of mine like let me touch his. He was like, "Do you want to touch my beard?" And I was like, "Not really, but sure, let's go, let's do it." And as soon as I touched it, like, because I've never really been a fan of beards in general, so that's why I wasn't really like into the idea of like touching this beard. But like when I did, like I was really hoping
this
it was
is
gonna
lagging
be
really bad.
Oh, can you hear my voice though? Hello? Hello.
I can hear you, but like I can't like visually see you.
Oh yeah, you like froze for like a second. We'll just push through the visuals, you know? So yeah, I touched his beard, and like for the millisecond right before I touched it, I was really expecting it to be like quite soft, like normal hair. And it wasn't. And that for me is the only memory that I have of touching a beard. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what all beards feel like. And I'm just like, I'm open to experiencing more beards. That's fine. Like, but right now I'm not convinced. It's fine. It's fine. We got off track.
I like.
Yes, go on. Most beards
are quite coarse in comparison to like your hair or even like that own person's hair, but I don't know, some just end up being better, I guess. I don't know, it's very few and far between, and I mean with my like extreme experience, no, I have like very minimal experience. Yeah, you can make that fucking face, but like, I mean, I don't know, I like beards if they're well maintained. If they're not well maintained, then I'm not about it. Not about that.
We're talking about Tinder dates.
Yes. Tell me about your experience with dating apps, because we're saving Tinder for us to do. And I swear to God, if next episode you're like, I made the Tinder,
No, I'm not going to.
I will actually cry.
That's
I
my
will
special
cry.
thing for you. It's only for you. So
Well,
my
I mean, me and whoever else who you match with. But
yeah.
Anyway.
So
Bye, everyone.
I got Hinge and Bumble. So Hinge advertises itself as being like quite a, like it's the dating app that you want to delete. And it's fine. As far as dating apps go, it's kind of like it's not swiping. It's like you X people like you don't want to, or there's part of their profile that you like. So there's like one of the questions or like that they've answered, or like one of the prompt or a photo that you like it. But Hinge has like a certain amount of likes that you can spend in a day, unless you want to like pay, and I'm not about that life. So whatever.
Everything you're saying right now is like in slow.
It's okay for you because I'm recording on this end, so on this end it's gonna be fine. But can you understand everything that I'm saying?
As of like right now, yes.
Yeah.
As of
All
like
right.
30 seconds ago, no fucking idea.
All right.
Repeat
Well,
for me.
it's just like Hinge is like yes or no, and you've got a certain amount of yeses that you can spend in a day. I'm gonna push through because what I'm saying really isn't that important, right? So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? This is what lockdown is like. This is what like 20% of lockdown is. It's just checking if the connection's good. Yeah? No, she can't. I can see on her face. She's got no fucking clue what I'm talking about. Luna's got big old balls. Big old balls. Luna's got big old balls. Nah, she doesn't know what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I can all see the moment the Luna
What
couldn't
just
get what
happened?
I just said. I was testing to see if you could hear what I was saying. You
I
heard
was
it
just
then.
about to record. Hang on. I'm gonna do it now. See how fucking
Let's go. Luna's
great
got
this quality is.
Luna's got big old balls. Big old balls. Luna's got big old balls. Biggest balls in the game, son. Is that it? You want me to keep talking? You are my sunshine.
What are you talking about?
I'm clearly fucking talking about your big fucking balls, Luna.
Your face is like a completely different image from what I would imagine it being, telling me that I have big old balls right now.
The biggest balls in the game. Anyways, are we back? Are we back to where we are? Can you understand me now? What I might do is just like cut. Motherfucking bitch has left me. So I'm gonna invite her back to the chat. Maybe she's just turned her thing off because it says that she's in the thing. All right, I admitted her back into the chat. I think she like left and now she's like trying to join back in. Oi, turn your phone again. You need to turn your phone. You're like sideways. Yeah, there we go. Amazing. Excellent. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but it was literally sideways before, so I don't know why every time we have to start this thing again, it doesn't work. Anyway, hi.
All right, so I've decided that as much as I don't like doing cuts on podcasts, I might cut from where it got weird. I talked about cutting it to like where this is now, or it might be earlier, but that was a whole fuck around. So welcome back. What I was talking about with Hinge was, certain amount of likes in a day, and I go through them a lot, like really quickly. That's annoying. Bumble is like cool. It's the same, like swiping. But what's weird is like you have to talk first. Have you used Bumble?
I haven't used it, but I've heard of it because that's one of the big attractions of Bumble, is that the female has to make the first interaction, which is a good thing, but also for someone who has social anxiety is just like, I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, I want them to like come to me, you know?
Yeah, no conversations have gotten very far with me on Bumble because like I was very drunk when I started like talking to people, and like the only reason why I was starting was because I was talking to my friend. What?
Oh man, I wish I was recording from my end to see how fucking laggy this is. This is great. I love it.
Are you with me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? The video's left again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Your monitor is unmuted. Your video is stopped. How do I unstop the video?
Like start the video? Is that what you mean? So yeah, you not only have to message first, but you have 24 hours to message first. And that pressure, I'm just like, what the fuck do I say? So at first, because I was having KFC that night, I was like, what are your opinions on KFC? Because I was also drunk at the time, and I was just like, I really am just looking for like people to fill my time right now, which might be a shallow thing, but I'm talking to guys that are potentially looking for love, and I'm just maybe wasting their time. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. They're big boys, they can deal with it. So I was just like, hi. And that was it. And then like sometimes it would go somewhere and somewhere it wouldn't. Hinge, the conversations tend to go a little bit longer, but they're all the same. It's just like, no, sorry, go on.
Out of curiosity, and like if you don't want to like put this in the podcast, you totally don't have to. But out of curiosity, just because in the past, you know, you've kind of mentioned to me that this is something that you've maybe been interested in exploring, but you're not necessarily, you don't know how you feel about it. I love how you're drinking before you answer this as well.
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Because you know exactly where I'm going with this. How do you feel about experimenting with your sexuality? Is that something you thought about doing when like obviously like it's been a long time since you've dated, but like have you thought about like branching out with that since being single now, or are you thinking that I'm gonna play it safe, or is it a different reason why you haven't branched out? Like, tell me all about it.
Okay, I'm going to be real blunt with you because I've had that much wine. I was really worried about where this conversation was going. Happy to talk about my sexuality. I'm like a pretty fucking open book about like anything in my life because I got no shame. You either love me or you don't. No, fuck if you don't. But yeah, I've obviously talked to you about like how over the last maybe year or like 18 months, I've just like notice that girls are fucking cute, like, and like this might seem like the most obvious thing in the world because we're all fucking magical creatures, but like I just found myself at points like flirting with girls and I just didn't realize it was happening. I just see a girl and she was really cute and my heart would skip a beat and I was like, what the fuck is that? I felt like it was a kind of symptom of how, because I was in long-term relationships for a really long time and I was just like very trained to not look at guys, that like my mind was like, all right, if we can't look at guys, we're gonna look at girls. Like it was just like this reaction that came to that. And I've got types of girls that I think that like when I see them dressed in like this kind of attire, I'm just like, oh, you just look like such a fucking babe, and my heart would just like flutter a little bit. So when I was making these profiles, the thought did occur to me to set it to like both, you know, like not specify. And like I get that there are things in the sexual act that like can happen between girls that will imitate the thing that I like. Oh my God, I really, really hope my parents don't watch this. All right, mom and dad, if you are watching this, you need to stop. And it's not like you know what, I actually can't say it. I actually can't say anything. That there are just certain parts of a boy that a girl doesn't have that I really enjoy. Like I like him so much.
You like a good
I
dicking.
think that that's okay. I think that that's okay. Okay, you like what you like, you know. Maybe also like, and
you like to be penetrated, basically. At the end of the day, I said it. It's fine.
you said it. You said it. Let's just skip over that. Let's just acknowledge that that's a thing. But also, I think that it comes down to, I think I get along with guys better than girls. Like, you know that I've got you. I've got, like, my other gorgeous Libra friend that I adore. My sisters, who obviously, like, have to love me and be friends with me because they're in my family. I don't have many girlfriends. Like, most of my immediate, like, friend group, they're all guys. I get along with them easily.
Except that friend that you made all of your other dating apps with the other day.
Oh, my Pisces. She's another. Oh, look. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're so bitter about it. I'm so sorry. I'm not. I'm not. Like, you're a big girl. You'll get over it.
I'm not amused. Not fucking amused, but it's fine.
I'm so fucking amused just to get this reaction out of you. I promise I won't ever deliberately try and do this again. If I accidentally do this again to you, my bad.
You know what? Everyone walks all over me all the time because I'm just so giving and I'm just so nice to everyone.
Are you kidding
it's
me?
not a fucking surprise.
Are you actually kidding me?
Don't make me spill my $20 bottle of wine.
Oh, you got a $20 bottle of wine? A $20 bottle of wine.
Anyway. It's fine.
It is.
I'm not bitter about it.
Yeah, clearly.
It's good. I'm just gonna enjoy my wine.
But yeah, I thought about it. It might happen. I think that if that's gonna happen, it's got to be one of those organic times where it's just like it happens and it takes me off guard and I just start flirting with a girl, because that's what my body and my mind start doing without me thinking about it. Like one of those situations that happens again.
So you feel like you can't, like, actively, in the same way that you can with a guy, go out looking for some kind of connection with a girl. It has to just kind of like happen on the spot. Is that right?
I don't think, I'm not trying to draw restrictions out. Like, I think that this can and this, I think that this can. I think that because I'm so inexperienced with that kind of thing,
yeah.
I don't know.
I totally get that. Yeah, I'm by no means judging, because I 100% get that. Like, for someone who has known for a while that they've been attracted to both men and women, but still has had more experience with men rather than with women, like, it's hard. Like, it's really fucking hard, especially if you're more accustomed to, like, one way of interacting than the other. Because as much as, like, oh, human beings are all the same, like, when you interact with a man and when you interact with a woman, at least from my experience anyway, it's, you have to do it in a completely different way. And, like, men are always saying, like, oh, women are, like, hard to deal with, like, and I mean, it's like, yeah, oh, boo-hoo, like, but it's true, like, maybe not in the same way that it comes across to you when you're the woman that they're talking about, but being someone who's dated a female and dated a male, whether it be casually or more seriously, in semi-recent times, like, there's like a huge difference between the dynamic in the relationship that you have with different genders. And I mean, I've never dated someone who hasn't had, like, well, been, like, gender fluid, so I wouldn't be able to give an example on that, but, like, two people, one defined as a woman, one defined as a man, or thereabouts, like totally different. Like it's a time, it's a bad time, not that it's a bad time at all. It's a great time. 100% recommend both. But with one, you have to be more in tune with some things, and the other, you obviously have to be more in tune with other things. And if you're someone who has only really been around one more than the other, learning that difference is hard.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And I think that is it. It's like you're just in tune and you're used to dealing with one thing. So when you have to deal with something else and you're expecting to read things a different way, like it can be a hard thing to struggle with. I do kind of like had issue with the thing where you're like, girls are like whatever to deal with or hard to deal with or whatever. It's like people are hard to deal with. Fuck off. Like, it's not girls. Like, men are the fucking worst sometimes.
Yeah. People are 100% hard to deal with, but like after dating a female, like I can understand why a man would feel like it would be hard to date us. But again, like I'm not a male, so I don't know exactly why it's hard for a male to date a female. I can only say why it's hard for a female to date another female, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like with the whole like gender fluidity thing, so down for it. But I don't know if I'm like saying the words politically correctly. Again, please don't hate me. If I'm not, don't hold it against me. I'm just trying to express my opinion about the situation that I'm in right now.
I love it. Yes. I think the thing that I'm like wary of is that I have to be conscious of how I'm maintaining my friendships with girls, because I know that doesn't come as easily as when I'm friends with guys. So I know I don't have it down perfect, and I know I'm not the best girlfriend at like the best of times, you know. So I really have to make that conscious effort to try and remind myself, like, no, you got to make sure you're aware of this, and you've got to make sure you do this, and you make sure you do this, and all that kind of stuff. And even then, I know I fall short. And it's something I'm like constantly working on, and that's why I feel like I'd be a terrible fucking girlfriend to a girl. It's just because even as a friend, I know I'm not stepping up to the mark, you know. And I try as much as I can when I'm in those situations with the girlfriends to give them all that support and all that kind of things. But I just know I'm not like, I don't go out of my way enough to kind of go say hi and check up on people. And I think that's the big part where I kind of fall down as a friend to girlfriends. I don't like message to be like, hey, how you doing? I'm not always the first to like initiate hangs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but in this day and age, like you've got to remember, everything is so digital. So, and we all still, even though everything is so digital, have our own shit going on. Like, so it doesn't always have to be up to you. And like, I know you're like in an energy is like, oh, I have to be the one to do this because that's just the person that I am. But like, you don't. Like, I mean, the number of times that like we've been meant to hang out regardless of who's been the one to initiate it, and we've had to cancel because of the other person, or even if we initiated it and then we've had to cancel because of our own shit going on. Like, it is literally just life. And I think that with all of this like interaction is the wrong word, but with all of this like input from that digital like stigma, like how we were talking about with the social media stuff, like it makes it really hard to like have that relationship. And I guess because it's female to female, you would notice that more and feel like, oh, because we're both female, we like need to be more in tune with like our emotions than I would with a male. Like, he's gonna let shit slide more because he's not as in tune. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's like comforting especially to hear from one of my girlfriends that like you understand that like sometimes life just happens, and that like maybe you understand like why I'm not like all the time being like, hey Luna, let's do this, and hey Luna, how are you doing? Like it's good to know that like you understand, as much as I do want to work on like being more active in my friends' lives, because I feel like I am very passive a lot of the time. Like I'll always respond, but like I'm not going to be a lot of the time the first to message.
Yeah, we all have shit going on, and like I totally get that. And I feel like, again, not trying to shit on anyone and their relationship with their other person, people in their life, but if you are like in a relationship where you feel like you're the only one who's communicating, well then maybe you need to bring that up with the person instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna like ghost them or whatever. Like, I mean, can only speak from personal experience. Like, you just gotta nail that shit on the head, regardless of whether it's romantic or whether it's a friendship. Like, you've just gotta bring it up. And if when you bring it up it doesn't get resolved, or it doesn't look like it's going to be resolved anytime soon, then maybe then that's when you need to think about, is this relationship really worth having in my life right now?
Yeah.
Because everyone's different, everyone's got their own shit going on. Like, you're on your own personal journey, and every single person in this planet is on their own personal journey. You have to meet people, and not necessarily meet people, but like coincide with people, I guess, who are on a similar personal journey to you, to be able to have a relationship where it can be easily maintained, if that makes any sense. I feel like I've had way too much wine now.
I love it.
I'm
loving everything you're talking about.
Journey when I have like no fucking idea what I'm actually talking about. But you know what? I'm just gonna keep drinking wine, and I'm just gonna keep giving advice like I know what I'm talking about.
As soon as you hit the word journey, I was like, yes. But also I'm having like flashbacks of, you know, that episode where we were like walking through the city, and I'm like, everyone's on their own personal journey, and then I was just like, nah, I'm too drunk. As soon as I got to the point.
You had like 2 beers and you were like,
Bish, you just muted yourself. Bish just muted herself. You saw her move her finger over, and she just muted herself. Luna, you muted yourself. Just figure out the way to unmute yourself. You turned off everything. It's fine. You just realized you muted yourself. Drink some water. What is wrong with you? Drink some water. You were really in that too. You were so in that.
I don't know how to work technology. Why do people keep giving me technology and expecting me to know how it works? I don't know how it works.
You do not belong in this century at all right? I don't know where you were in a past life, but you're stuck there. Like, you did not fully come here. You're still a little bit there.
I mean, fucking ow. Thank you so much for bringing that up, but you know what? It's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that, hey? There's nothing wrong
What,
with
being
that.
stuck in a past life? No, nothing wrong with being stuck in a past life.
What if your past life was better? I don't imagine that it could be worse than...
Honestly, I don't think anything could be worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's talk about past lives for a bit. So
Let's do it. I'm so ready.
I don't think that a past life that you've had could be better than a current life that you're in.
True.
Because if it was, why are you in the current life that you're in right now?
Maybe you're really bad in your past life. They're punishing you more.
But if you were bad in your last life, then it wouldn't be a good life. Regardless of whether you had money.
What if you were like Rupert fucking Murdoch, you know, like in your past life?
I mean, he's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah. No, but I said like you were like some evil fucking prick. Just like fucking.
Yeah, but I like to imagine that even though people like that are absolute complete fucking idiots.
Cunts, yeah.
But they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
They still have that voice inside their head
No,
that
he
is
doesn't.
like,
Go on.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
He's part of the Illuminati.
situation.
He is part of the Illuminati. He's the one that is stopping us from reaching our higher consciousness by feeding all of the news and the media all this bad shit that makes us believe that spirituality and universal consciousness doesn't exist, because he knows if we find out about it and we all care about each other and give a shit about each other, that we're all going to use our universal consciousness and reach that higher fucking spiritual level, fucking, you know, elevate to a point where we can overthrow that shit. And he does not benefit from us loving each other. He benefits from war and like over capitalism and over like fucking industrialism, where it's like hurting us and literally us making us unhealthy and sick all the time. He is evil. Oh, I'm drawing too much wine.
Welcome to our podcast. We're talking about conspiracy theories now.
I've never gone this deep about this shit. Oh, I choked on my wine trying to drink it. I'm just like, oh shit, now they know.
I just hope everyone realizes Danny's had 4 drinks. We're now going into the deep end of life.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, he's the fucking worst.
Oh, look, she's even
Illuminati.
crying. She's even crying.
Yeah, such a fucking Pisces. I'm gonna cry about how like we're not all like spiritually enlightened.
You
Yeah,
said
I am.
it, not me.
I am. I think it's such a fucking shame. I think it's a fucking shame. So yeah, you go ahead and try and find the good in Rupert Murdoch, but he is avidly trying to make sure that we feel alone and lonely and sad, so we never connect to each other and find the good.
How else would he make money?
Exactly. How would he stay at the top? If we all started sharing our wealth with each other and care
But
for
I
each
mean,
other.
how would any of them, like, I mean, not saying that I'm like pro Rupert Murdoch, but like, how would any large company stay at the top if there wasn't that sort of disconnect from like A to B? Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't know if this is actually going to be in an episode that we like
Post.
have.
Yeah.
But because spoiler alert, there were 2 episodes that we filmed that are not actually going to be posted on our YouTube or SoundCloud or whatever this is posted on.
Yeah.
They will, however, be posted on our Patreon,
our Patreon.
Potentially.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe edited. You will have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know. How will it? Yeah, it's just there's that whole like capitalism argument, and I just don't know if, given the industry that I'm in, if I'm ready to have that conversation right now. But you know,
That's cool.
I
you
love
drink
wine.
your wine. I am an artist. I'm a musician. I get to talk about whatever the fuck I want. And if Illuminati want to come grab me, if I disappear suddenly because I'm talking some shit about Rupert Murdoch, I don't think I'm that big of a target. But then your bitches know it's confirmed. Some shady shit's going down.
If she disappears, this podcast is going to go, because I do not know how to do fucking anything.
Grab Holly.
So you will
grab Jen. You're fine. You got some dope ass friends. Like, you'll be good. You'll be fine. And I'm sure they know how to work Zoom. Like, it's not that complicated.
Okay, shut up.
You just hit the record. It's good.
Anyway, you know, Jan's telling me that I'm shit, but that's fine.
I didn't say that. I said that you've got
you
talented
didn't say it, but
friends.
you implied it. You implied that I was bad at it, and I also implied that I was bad at it. But the most important thing is that you implied that I was bad at it.
I'm so sorry.
You should be.
I'm not actually. Like, it was a lie. I feel bad for lying because I really try not to lie very often. You know what I don't get? People that lie all the time when they know that, like, being honest is better. Maybe they don't know. Maybe that's why Rupert Murdoch, like, maybe he just doesn't understand the benefits of just being fucking sane and saying the truth all the time. How do you feel you are with lying? Do you feel like you lie often? And let's be honest here, or maybe lie, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you had to give yourself a percentage out of the day.
I've lied before.
Pardon?
I've lied before.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on what context that you're lying in. Like, some personal circumstances on which I've lied within, but I haven't necessarily lied, but I've withheld the truth. And I feel fucking horrible about that. But the only reason that I have done that is to protect the other person or the other parties that have been involved in that, not for my own self-gain to make myself seem like a better person than I am, because honestly, at the end of the day, fuck that. That literally means nothing to me. Yeah. But I have lied before to benefit someone else, not to benefit myself. And I think that it's hard, like, because there is a really massive stigma around lying and it being a negative thing. And I absolutely agree that it is a negative thing. You shouldn't lie to someone. That is just not something that should be done. However, having been someone who has lied at some point in their life, it is necessary. Depending again on the situation, also don't have COVID but need to cough.
Rona! Rona! It's just like, instead of bless you, some people just yell Rona. Go on.
But that is such an Australian thing to do, call it Rona instead of curry. In the UK, they're calling it curry. It's funny. Anyway, or Roni or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. What about you? Have you lied?
Lied. I've definitely lied before, and I still definitely lie before. I think nowadays it's definitely more lying through omission. I just won't say things, and when I do it, I'm very hyper aware of it. I try and backtrack and like.
Do you hate it?
I do, and I think it comes from. There was a time in my life where I was lying to someone about something pretty big. And I was just like, this is to benefit him. It's also to benefit me. It's just going to make life easier if I just don't tell this person about this. And then in me needing to not tell this person about something, I had to say it was something else. Like, I'm not going to go do this. I want to go do that. And I wasn't cheating on anyone. It was just like a whole thing. But in the maybe 5 to 6 months that I was kind of hiding this thing from this person, fucking mental state deteriorated. So what I know about lying is that when you do it, it fucks with your head. Like, when your body says something that your mind knows isn't true, it tells your mind this is a true thing. When you say something and it's not true, your brain starts to think, oh, that's a fact. And when you know that it's not, but then your mind tries to accept that it is, it just fucks with how your mental processes work. It completely fucks with it. And everything goes haywire because you don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. You don't know what emotions to trust and what to not. And your just reactions. I fucking went into like the darkest place I've ever been. I couldn't control myself mentally or emotionally. My stability just was all over the place. And it didn't start to fix until I started to just admit things and be truthful. So that is why I'm against lying. It's because it fucks with how your brain works. So that's why I'm against lying. It's like, because regardless of how that affects the situation, it affects like my mentality. And I don't have the steadiest fucking emotional range. Like, my emotional range is 0 to 100. I don't have an in between. Okay, 0 or fucking 100. Okay, so if I'm not in control of that, I'm like swinging like a fucking metronome, just bing, 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 bing. It's not fun. It's really, really not. It's exhausting on me. Like, it's exhausting for the people that I'm around, and I can see the toll that it takes on them, but it also takes a huge toll on me, even more so. So I'm not for it. for that reason. I don't know how we got to lying. Babe, I really need to pee. How are you feeling?
I could go for a bathroom break.
All right, are we bathroom breaking and coming back, or are we bathroom breaking because we're stopping? We started around before 8ish.
What time is it now?
It's 9:23.
All right, we will pause and then we'll come back.
And we'll come back. I'll edit it.
And, all right, we're going 1, 2, 3, and go.
Oh, what? It's just me? Okay. It's just me. Well, while Luna's away, and it's just me. Let's draw a card, ladies and gentlemen. Let's draw a card for someone watching. I don't know if it's gonna be you. Might be all of you. Might be one of you. Let's go. Oh, cool. Sweet. 2 cards. All right. One of you out here is the King of Cups right now. Okay. King of Cups represents like water and emotion and nourishment and all that kind of stuff. And right now we've got the 5 of Cups. Without me looking it up, I feel like y'all are a bit sad about something. Mr. Knight, King of Cups is a bit fucking sad. Like you're on top of your shit, but you're sad about something. I'm not going to give you advice based on the cards. I'm going to give you advice based on like what I fucking say. And that's like, it's gonna pass and you're going to be fine. You're a big boy or you're a big girl and you're going to be fine. I know that. You're going to be fine. Too many wines, eh? Fuck. Luna's back. Too many wines. Stop being so hard on yourself.
How did you know I was back?
I heard the doors.
I may or may not have gotten snacks.
Snacks! I do have brownies sitting here. I was waiting to eat my brownies. I didn't want to shove it in your face that I was eating brownies though, and I feel like I need it. So I'm eating my brownies.
You ate brownies this whole time?
No, I had them by my table for when I needed them. I didn't eat them the whole time. Fuck. You see what I have to deal with?
BYO brownies? Like, did you make them yourself?
My mama made them because I live with my parents. Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. I love that I live with my parents during COVID, all right? If you're not living with your parents during COVID, it might be because you don't have an amazing relationship with them, and I'm really sorry that you don't. But
I'm sorry that not everyone is as blessed as you are when it comes to their
fucking blessed. I'm so blessed. I'm gonna take my blessings. I'm gonna thank my ancestors because I'm blessed as fuck.
This bitch. I can't even deal with her right now. Meanwhile, me.
Yeah.
This is my dinner this evening.
Veggie twists with potato and lentils.
Amazing.
Throw it back. Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
You know what's even more amazing? The fact that I can't even open my packet of chips right now.
Do it. Can you do it on camera, please? So we can all revel in your embarrassment, please.
I hate you, but
can you please do it for the entertainment of everyone else?
Why is
tear it, but
why
like
is
tear it.
Actually, so hard. Am I meant to tear it? Oh, it's a tear one. It's not a pull one. Oh, I just got a message
From who? From who? Who'd you get a message from? Is it from the King of Coins? Can you read it out loud to all of us? Does it say that he wants to check online? Is that what he wants to do? Yes.
I'm fine. Obviously, I'm fine.
No, read the message. Read the message. You have to read the message now. You can like, retract parts. Just like say the parts that are okay and then just bleep over the words you don't want to say.
What if it's bad?
Even better. Can you just think about the podcast and the success of the podcast for like 1 second? Because I really feel like you don't have your priorities straight. You're prioritizing this relationship with this guy that you really like over our podcast. Like, I just don't think that
How dare I?
How dare you? Can you just think, just like, you need to sort out your priorities, as Hermione would say.
Can you still verbally hear me if I leave this?
Yeah.
You just can't hear me.
Yeah. That's
you
cool.
can still hear what I'm saying right now?
Mm-hmm.
Great. You can't fucking wait for this to happen, honestly. If it's really good, I'm not going to read it, but if it's terrible, I'll maybe read it. Cool. Awesome. Can't wait.
Why do you need to mute, like, not mute, but like, why do you need to turn your video off in order just to read a message? It's because you don't want us to see your reaction to it? Or
no, it's
because you're reading the message. Okay. No, I understand. I'm very drunk.
So bad with technology that I cannot like get them to coincide. Also, it was a totally positive message, and
What does it say? What does it say?
What does it say?
In
my fucking head about everything.
Yeah, I told you this though. I told you you'll put up defenses and you need to not do that anymore. But that's cool. What does the message say? Is it just good fun, nice things? Was I right about everything? Yes. Just say yes. Just agree with the
Shut
things
your Pisces ass.
Yes. Yes.
And
Validate me.
I may or may not be crying right now, but that's not from. That's me. Yeah, it's not from you. It's just because I. Shut up.
So right. I'm so fucking right about everything. And I'm just glad that I am, honestly.
But how annoying it is to not be the person to say, like, I was right about something, because...
Yeah, must suck.
I can hate you. You know what?
So
if roles were fucking reversed right now, I would be you and you would be me. But roles aren't reversed, so it's the other way around.
Your day is gonna come. The day is gonna come and you're gonna be like sipping your tea, being like, yeah, I know.
I've already sipped my tea and told you how it is, but you didn't listen, and I was just like, docile about the fact that I was right. But you know what? I'm just not even gonna bring that up right now. You just drink your fucking wine, and I'll just drink mine.
You're right. And me being a fucking Pisces.
Right.
Yes, you're right.
But I'm subtle about it.
I got no room for subtlety in my. I told you, I'm 0 or 100. 0 or 100. That's it. No room for subtlety.
I love our relationship.
I love you. This is good. I like this. This is a good vibe. Oh my god, I've drunk so much wine. I think I've drunk more wine tonight and gin than I have collectively in one session during this entire lockdown. I think this is probably the littest that we've...
That's why I have snacks to balance out my alcoholism.
I'm feeling it. I'm vibing on it. It's good. Great. So we did... Because I'm thinking, like, what am I going to... Oh my god. So what are we gonna put as like the title of this episode? So I'm trying to summarize like what we've talked about so far. We've talked about tarots. We talked about dating.
Do you know what you should call this episode?
What?
Everything.
Everything, but it's not. It's not everything. Like yeah, true. I think we should call this episode Too Much Wine. Okay, I've got it. I've got the next chat topic, all right? Your worst date, first of all, your worst date. And secondly, this is a two-part question. the best date that was going fine until it took like a hard fucking left and you found out he was fucking racist or something. Like the one that was going so well until it was like not. So just the worst overall, and then like the one that was going fine until it didn't.
You start.
See, I haven't gone on that many dates. I think I've gone on less than 10 dates my whole life. But see, that's why I'm asking you. That's why I'm asking you the question, okay? Because I don't have an answer. Like, okay, I've got an answer for my worst date, but I don't know if it was all his fault that it was like a bad date. And it was like almost 10 years ago, so I don't feel bad. I don't feel like he's following my shit enough to like watch the pod. Anyways, so it was when I was doing my first uni degree, and it was this guy who was really into metal. He had like long red hair that was like straight, and I was just like, whatever. And like we went on a date because like the time before when we hung out, I got really drunk and like held his hand or whatever. This was at the point where I'd like, because all the way through high school, I was really like literally obese, and then I'd lost a bunch of weight, and I went to a university, and like I was hot as fuck, and like no one knew what I looked like before, so I was like, I could be whoever the fuck I want. So I just talked to boys, which I could never do before, and I didn't understand the difference between talking to boys and talking to girls. So I talked to them like they were girls, which is the wrong thing to do because they all just think it's flirting, you know. You don't do that. I didn't realize how easy it was to lead guys on and like break their hearts. It was all new to me. So it was all that in that phase where I was just like,
that's the thing as well. It shouldn't be completely up to you, and like you shouldn't have that responsibility to feel like, oh, I broke their hearts. It's like, particularly if it's like a new experience for you, they should have, like, obviously if they were like going through their own shit, whatever. But like 9 times out of 10, even if they are going through their own shit, guys know how to talk to girls. They're just too fucking nervous to do it. So, I mean, maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but
look, it was what it was.
Your lighting is so much better than mine. It makes me really upset.
Yeah, like, I'm glad that it is because you are so much prettier than me. So I feel like we've got a level playing field right now. Back to my story. Okay, so he like was like a singer and a musician, and at that point I was studying something that wasn't music, so I wasn't like what I considered a musician. Singing was something that I was good at, so I was attracted to people that were musicians, but it wasn't really what I was pursuing as a thing. So I was studying like media communications or whatever because I thought that was all I was good enough for. I didn't believe at that time that I was good enough to pursue music because I didn't think I would succeed. That changed later, whatever. Anyway, so we were hanging out
because she's a fucking bomb-ass musician, and I've seen her live, and by this point in time, you would have also seen the vlog of her live. But, you know, at the end of the day.
They know what's up. I know what's up. That's all that matters, that I know what's up. You know what's up. We're all good. So we were hanging out at the uni bar, had some drinks. We went down to like this basement where people like hung out, but it was really empty, and I was like, fucking sing to me. So he sang to me. Wasn't that great, whatever. And then we went out to this sushi place, and like he said it was really good, but I think he only thought it was really good because he's like from the country. He's not really experienced with like city dining and like what's like good to eat in the city. And like he paid for himself, and I was just like, cool, this clearly isn't a date. I was just like down for hangs, and the whole time he was dropping things like, I don't really know what this is. I don't know if this is a date. I don't know if it's this, and me not wanting to clarify for him. I was just like, change the fucking subject because like I was just like, I don't know, whatever. And then we went to this bar, and he kept trying to like swoop in for a kiss, and I was like hard ducking, like just like no. And then we went home. That's the worst date I've ever been on, where he took me to this shit sushi place and didn't pay for me, and then kept trying to kiss me, and also was just like singing to me, and he wasn't that good. Also, he sent me this big essay of a letter like that week being like, I think it would be mutually beneficial to both of us if we got into a romantic relationship. And I'm like, yeah, wow, really ruined my heart there.
No, hold on 1 second. Did he
Did he actually use those words?
Mutually
when he
beneficial?
was-
Yes, he used the exact words mutually beneficial. It was like a business proposal, and it was like the least romantic thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And like, I'm sure he just had no clue how to approach cute girls at that point. And like, that's fine. I'm sure he's done a lot better, and I'm not trying to shame him or anything. That was a learning experience for him. It was a learning experience for me, because I learned a lot at that time in my life to not lead boys on like that. Because you know what? I made a lot of boys cry. You know what I learned from that time? Makes you feel like shit when you make boys cry. All right, that's why I've learned not to talk to boys like that when I don't intend to follow through. You know,
mutually beneficial for us to be in a relationship is not the terminology you want to use when you're trying to get someone in a relationship with you.
Doesn't get you hard.
Really important big heads up. Regardless of what gender you are, regardless of what gender you're like interested in, do not use mutual interest and mutually beneficial as a description for how you instigate a relationship with someone. Just a little like tidbit.
Tidbit of advice. Just a little tiny bit of advice. I'm sure he's gotten a lot better. I'm sure he's like upped his game a lot since then. That was like a very long time ago.
Really hope so.
I hope
because
so.
if he's using every single relationship like a business agreement, then he needs to really fucking reevaluate his life. Again, maybe there are other people who would be receptive to that, but I can almost 100% guarantee you that at least 80 to 95% of people will not reciprocate that and will tell him to go fuck himself. Not in like you're a bad person way, but that's just not the right way to like approach that situation.
Yes. I want to hear your worst date story now, please.
Well, there've been a few.
See, this is why I asked you. I knew you'd have stories to tell. Guess what, babe, though? But guess what? And I'm going to make you guess.
Are you telling me I'm a slut right now? Because
No, I'm just saying that you haven't been in a fucking long-term relationship or relationships for like almost 10 years where you've been going from long-term relationship to long-term relationship. Like, there are so many things that are fucked up about that. There was nothing fucked up about my last relationship, because that was nothing. Like, we had bad times, but that was fucking beautiful and golden and like fucking awesome. So nothing. But I just know that you've been on more dates than I have. I'm envious. You've got more experience. You know what to expect. You know how to navigate these situations. I want advice. I want fucking dating 101 from Luna right now, okay?
Like, look, to be honest, most of the dates that I've been on, because I'm a socially anxious person naturally, and because I don't know how to like process those emotions, I drink a lot. And so when I drink a lot, I end up fucking, and then when I end up fucking someone, it either ends up going like it's not necessarily bad sex, but it's just like either we have like one more date and that's it, or we have like a series of dates after that where I'm like equally as drunk as I was for the first date, but then after maybe like date 3, I'm like, I'll have like a few drinks, but not really as many. And then I realize how bad the sex is. And like the person might be great, but like the sex itself is just like
not hitting it for you. Yeah, true. Don't lower your standards for it.
Could perhaps maybe not have that in my repertoire. I don't know. How do I even...
I love that. Don't have that in your repertoire. You don't have time to memorize that into your repertoire. I've got no time for it, okay? That's a fucking perfect metaphor. Do you know how much time it takes to memorize a song, to have it in your go-to repertoire? It's got to be a fucking amazing song for you to dedicate time to it, for it to be in your fucking repertoire, okay? And if it's not that good, if it's fucking horses, you know, Or like
it's not to
K
say
song,
that
like
I don't know. It's not to say that the sex before that point has been bad. It's just because we've been on like an equal level of like intoxicated, it's been better. But when one of us, specifically in certain situations, him, has been more intoxicated than I have been, the sex has been less than great. But I mean, you know what? There have been dates that I've been on where I've been fucking blind, and then I know for a fact my date has not been fucking blind. That I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing that I've ever had in my entire life. But my date has probably been like, this bitch is fucking crazy and is really bad at sex. So I'm gonna give it a pass. And like, I totally get that. It's totally fine. But I'm probably not the best person to reference when looking at dating because of my social anxiety, and I have to be pretty drunk most of the time, besides this one person that I've been seeing recently where I
King of
probably had...
Clans. I love that we've got nicknames for people.
Yeah, but like one of the dates that I've been on recently with said person has probably been one of the best dates I've been on. Not because it was anything in terms of like spectacular, but because it was literally just that. It was like a date that felt like organic from like beginning to end. Like it was just like, there was nothing that felt forced about it. There was nothing that felt unnatural. It was just, this is what it is. Like, everything is laid out on the table. And like that, I mean, like right now I'm like thinking about it and I'm like getting butterflies, you know, like it's just, I hate this. I hate having...
Love it. I love love. I love love.
I love too, but I love other people feeling love. I personally don't like experiencing emotion at the level that I'm experiencing it right now. I'm not saying that I am in love with this person, but it's definitely a heightened level of experience than I feel on your day-to-day interaction with someone.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's really different after like being alone for like a really long time and trying to like not convince myself, but I don't know, like train myself maybe would be a better word. I don't know, to like accept emotion, and then actually having that emotion thrown at me after being like, no, it's okay to accept emotion, and then having it actually thrown at me. It's like, oh fuck, like what do I do? Like, I don't know, it's really hard. I feel like there are other people out there who would understand this.
Comment below if you do. Far out.
If you understand what I'm feeling right now, where you have been through a lot of shit previously in relationships, not necessarily one specifically, but relationships over a period of time, and you're like, no, I'm gonna sort my shit out, and you're like maybe halfway there, maybe 3/4 of the way there, maybe the whole way there, and then all of a sudden like this big fucking thing happens to you, and it's just like, oh my God, like this is amazing, this is so good, but also this is like setting off all kind of alarm bells because I'm not used to feeling this way after feeling a completely different way for so long. Like, is that just me? Or
Not at all. And they're all gonna let you know down below. I feel like that's me. Is like I love love. I love love. Really quickly, I'm going to let you talk to the people below for a second. You're going to keep talking about your issues because they're going to be able to relate and they're going to comment back and they're going to be like, I'm so glad to hear that someone else is experiencing this stuff. You know, before when I was like, guess what? The thing that I wanted you to guess is that I really need to fucking pee because I've broken the seal. So please keep talking to the people below and keep talking because my bathroom is on the other side of the wall and you're going to hear me pee. So I talked to people before.
Oh my God, same.
Huh? You need to pee
Same.
too?
Yeah, no, you heard me pee before, right? Or
No,
were
I
too
heard you
drunk?
come back in. I heard you come back in. I heard the door opening when you came back in. I didn't hear you
Amazing.
pee, but you need to keep. I talked to people. What I did was I drew a card, and I was like, this card is for someone watching right now. And I drew a card, and I drew a clarifying card, and I was like, I don't know who this is for, but you'll need to chill the fuck out because you're amazing. All right, cool. So you got to just talk to the people for a second. I need to pee. Bye.
Okay, cool. Can't wait. All right, hi. So I don't have my cards on me right now, but how you are doing? Is anyone else in the same position as me right now where you feel like, well, before obviously this emotionally stimulating situation happened, where you were kind of at like a level point, but then you met someone or something happened and you've kind of been thrown like totally off course from where you were before? Is that me? Is that you? Like, I don't know. Am I the only one here? But it's okay if you have. Like, I can do this for other people. I can't do this for myself. But it's okay if you have been, if you've been thrown off course, that's more than okay. Like, shit happens in life. Like, you're going to be thrown off course. You can't always be on the same trajectory you were thinking you were going to be on. It's just, I don't know. Part of what makes you from that experience, you will either grow up or you'll have to go back and retrack, maybe learn some lessons that you thought you learned before but have to relearn, maybe just in a different way this time. I don't know. It's really fucking hard. It's really hard, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm really bad at talking to people. Danny is much better at this than I am. Unless I'm like face to face with you, I really genuinely suck at people. Not because I don't love you or not because I don't appreciate you, but just because I'm a bad person. And there she is.
Did y'all hear me pee? What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, you know what? I'm deaf, so they probably did, but I didn't. And also, you have snacks.
Okay,
What
so
are
let
your
me
snacks?
talk about. I had brownies in my before. If there are any like Filipinos watching, they'll know what pandesal is, which is like a sweet breakfast bread that is common in the Philippines. My mom's been really bored, so she's been baking a lot and she decided to try and make pandesal, and it's fucking incredible. And I feel like I've had so much wine and I need carbohydrates, which I'm trying to cut down on, but they're sitting in the kitchen just being like, oh, I'm delicious, come get me. So that's what's up right now. Eating some pandesal. So if you're Filipino and you're watching this and you're like, fuck yeah, pandesal, like, comment below. If you don't know what that is, you're missing out. Anyways, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I was talking about how, for one, you're so much better at dealing with people than I am.
I fake real hard. It's all a mask, let's be real, but go on.
Sorry, I just had a funny notification come up. And
we need to talk about notifications after this in a sec, but like, yeah, go on.
But also how, like, if shit happens in your life, like, it's not necessarily the be all and end all. Like, you can learn a lot from it. I don't know. I've had a lot of wine, Danny. This is...
We've both had a lot of wine. I'm feeling like this is going to need to be a two-parter, but like, I'm having so much fun, and it's not even about them. It's about us having something fun to do when we're like in fucking lockdown, and also not even in fucking lockdown. We started this before lockdown. This is for us to have a fun thing to do. And if someone wants to have two fucking rad as fuck girlfriends to like have in the background while they're drinking, or they want or they like what they're talking about and they like us, like, that's it. That's all it is. It's just we want to be
Also,
friends with other people.
I was thinking today, do you, Dan, want to do this as a visual, so YouTube only, or do you want to do this as a SoundCloud stimulation kind of deal as well?
So I've thought about this,
because we'll talk about this right now, and like
whichever one we decide to
do, we'll do. But then if other people disagree with us, please let us know. If you want it whatever way that we don't do it, give us the answers. We want to know what you want, because we're all about pleasing you, because you've got one.
Because you're a Libra and you're a people pleaser, like.
And then you've got one needy ass air sign. Like, it's a combination of the two, you know? Best of both fucking worlds.
Yeah. Okay, so my opinion on this is, so it's going to need to be the two, because I know that my screen is freezing a lot right now for some bizarre reason. Okay, so, here we are, we're back. Okay, so it's going to need to be true, because I know that not everyone has like YouTube, like the paid one where they can close it and they can keep listening to it. It's going to drain people's battery on the train if they decide to listen to us on the train. It's a lot of the time where I'm listening to my podcast and I don't want to have it open all the time. If you want to listen to us, that's cool. So definitely both. And especially with the way that Zoom records, like it does the audio separately as well as having the video. And like, it gives me the audio, the video, and them both together. So Zoom is really good. It's really easy for this medium right now that we're recording in. It's like super simple. So both. I know that SoundCloud has some restrictions on the length of content for their free users. If we decide to go down the path of like paying a little bit more, whether that be like $20 a month, for us to be able to upload more than the certain amount of hours that they allow us.
We will do it for you.
We will.
You want that.
You and me, $10 a month if we're splitting that, or whatever the cost is. Like, I'm happy to do that. That's just like another thing. Like, that's nothing. I can do that, especially for this, which is like definitely a passion project. This is the thing I'm doing outside of my career that I just kind of get to let loose and be happy and not really give a fuck. This is what this is, and I'm happy to pay a little bit of money for that, considering it is like, it's not like where I'm joining a soccer team or a dance lesson every week where it's going to be $7 a week. Like, yeah, this is very cheap considering. But I have acknowledged a few certain things. And it's obviously because I'm super self-centered and I'm really vain and I'm always thinking about how I come across, and like, that's my own personal bias and whatever. You are perfect in everything that you do. So like, fuck you. But like, I love you and you're amazing. So whatever. So you're fine sitting over there, whatever. You come across fine in all the videos. You come across really well when it's just audio as well, because I've listened to it just audio, especially when we did the practice earlier podcast that we aren't going to post unless it's like later on Patreon, where I've just used a really good microphone and I've listened to it, and you come across really well because you speak really clearly, you speak really slowly, and you speak in full sentences. This is not my strength. You know that like, I'll get halfway through a fucking sentence and then just change my path. And that works with a visual, because they can see in my eyes when I've just changed my fucking mind and decided to go a different way. When it's an audio thing, bitch, doesn't make sense. I sound so awful when it's just audio. But you know what? For the sake of consumerism and how people eat and consume this, we're gonna put the audio up. But like, I just sound so awful, and I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to speak in full sentences, but the way that I go, it's like, and I'm gonna own it, is I'll always be like, you know what, and then I'll just fucking change what the fuck I was talking about. And you know me well enough to be able to follow that train of thought. The people who don't know me, they're gonna be like, what the fuck?
But that's the whole part of this like journey for us. I feel like it's like, our podcast is not meant to be like, oh, we have a theme and we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. It is literally two people having a fucking conversation. Maybe we've discussed the topic before, but you know what? If we go off track, we go off track. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You want to jam with your two girlfriends, you're fucking jamming with your two girlfriends.
That's what it is.
Like, we're not trying to be like fucking, I don't even know an example, because you know what? I don't really honestly listen to podcasts. I'm going to be real honest about that. I'm not a big podcast listener, listener, but I feel like it's something that's missing to have like that organic conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Whether that visual or whether that just be audio. When it comes to what I have seen of podcasts or have heard of podcasts, it's just like A, B, C, D. Like, that's the structure, that's it. But this is literally two people having a conversation. You want to get in touch with us via comments, via DMs, via X, Y, and Z. Fucking go for it. We're down for it. We thrive on that shit. You might talk to Dan, you might talk to me. Who fucking knows? Like, we'll probably obviously sign off at the end of the message. But, you know, like, it's a wild card. At the end of the day, until you get that message, you will not fucking know who you talk to. And, like, we're not trying to pretend like we're going to be anything other than what we are.
Yes, exactly. I feel like, because me on the other side, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Well, not a lot, but I've listened to podcasts, and I obviously idolize Joe Rogan. And like, one of my big life goals is to be on to be invited onto the Joe Rogan podcast, and he is the king of podcasts. And I've listened to Russell Brand and Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro.
Russell Brand I've listened to as well a little bit, not a huge amount, but a little bit.
You've got to like fucking have so much patience. He'll say something in 10 seconds and you're like, holy fuck, you just said a lot of shit right now. And you got to like fucking go back. It's really actually quite hard to listen to him sometimes because he's very eloquent, and you wouldn't suspect that expect that on first go. You expect him to be like this funny comedian, and he's really, really changed from like the kind of things that you would expect to see if you haven't been following his journey. But I've also been listening to stuff like Two Dope Queens, and they've got this kind of vibe. And then obviously I'm a big fan of Broad City, who don't really have a podcast, but they've got that dynamic. And so I think our vibe is like, we're just two girls. We're maybe similar to Two Dope Queens, where we're just two girls talking about shit. And like, if you get down with us, that's cool. That's cool. But I feel like at the end of the day, we're doing this to have fun with each other and have fun with all of y'all. If you're down with us, that's cool. If you're not, that's fine. That's cool too. Like, it's all good.
We started this before isolation happened, obviously. Like, I mean, it probably won't come through as clear to you as it does to us, but we like it pre-recorded maybe like 2, 3, maybe even 4 episodes before this whole like coronavirus happened. They weren't necessarily like perfect episodes, but we had started this like before that, and we had wanted to do this for a while, but I don't know, it just didn't really like come like into effect before it happened. And like, for whatever reason, maybe that's a sign, but this is how we do it now. If this is how you want to watch it, this is how you want to watch it. But I don't know.
And maybe we'll get to that point with Two Dope Queens where they're doing their podcast in front of like a huge studio audience because they're so huge. Or maybe we won't, or maybe we'll just stay here.
I mean, if we just stay here, that's so fine, because I just want to keep in contact with my girl at the end of the day.
That's it.
Like, I want to stay in touch with this bitch, Dan, because I love her. And she's very important to me. And she's amazing.
You're important to me and you're amazing.
And I mean, if we're recording that for everyone to see, then we're recording that for everyone to see.
Love your girlfriends. Love your boyfriends. Do it.
I mean, basically. I mean, I'm bad with technology, but you're bad with staying in touch with people. So this is the way that it like works for us to
100%.
counteract both of those two problems.
That's super
So if you
fucking
don't like
accurate.
that, don't fucking watch it. But I love her. She loves me. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It is what it is.
And also beyond us loving each other is we love you. We love you if you stayed with us to this fucking point. Like, holy fuck. You are our best friends. And I think that's just, we're here to just have fun. So if you want to have fun with us and drink with us, like, that's cool. That's cool. We're always open to have more people, like, have fucking drinks with us. I think I'm so excited for us to start going live and start being like, we're going live. And if people decide to fucking get drunk with us and get to have that, like, chat and that, like, really open forum of people interacting with us, like, I'm really excited for that. Because...
Do you know what we need to do as well?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, for me personally, the only liquor I drink is, like, wine, gin, and tequila.
Yeah, I know, because you're bougie as fuck, but go on. Yep.
I know you're not quite as fussy as me, but you are still fussy about what you drink. I think that when we need to do this, we need to, like, branch out.
I'm sorry, are you suggesting change in my life right now? Is that what you're doing? Because my Taurus rising is not agreeing. But go on, I'm open and receptive to your suggestions. Let's go.
My Capricorn moon is as much opposed to this change as your fucking Taurus rising right now. But I think that would be fun and I think that other people would like live for that. Yeah. Because we're so used to staying within the parameters that we have. And this will also encourage other people to exit those parameters, which we are so about. Because acceptance of everything, whether it be X, Y, and Z, whether it be A, B, C, D, whether it be this way or that way, like that is key to our survival, regardless of whether we're looking at like you and I and like what we're doing right now, like survival and being adaptable, being like blah 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 blah. Like I'm talking shit right now, but you know what I mean. Like we all just need to be.
Are we all drinking the same thing? Is that what you're suggesting, or we're just like?
No, you and I are drinking what we don't normally drink.
So you're drinking, okay, so we're going to have a beer episode, is what you're saying. We're going to have a beer episode. See, if I got to do this, all right, and we're going to have a tequila episode, and I'm telling you straight up, like, this is not, first of all, it's going to be expensive. Number two, like, that's not going to be fun. The reason why I don't drink tequila is not because I don't like the taste of tequila, it's because I've had a bad night on tequila. It's the same reason why people stop drinking tequila. It's because one time in their life, they've had a bad fucking experience with tequila.
You gotta fight through it though. Like I've had plenty of bad experiences on tequila and I fought through that shit and it's been amazing. Whereas beer, it's just not a rewarding, it's not,
you haven't drunk enough.
I don't get any kind of personal gain out of beer whatsoever unless it's a Corona, and even then hashtag not coronavirus.
But we could like do coronavirus episode where we do coronas. I'm so glad that you came up with that idea. And I'm saying you came up with that idea because it is perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect fucking idea. We do the coronavirus episode where we drink fucking coronas with lime. If you drink it with lime, it's all good. I'm sorry I keep shifting. I'm on a twisty turntable right now. But yeah, cool. I'm glad. Next episode, coronas. I'll go buy some coronas for our next episode. Planned, done.
Are you going to mail them to me?
No, bitch. You can go for a walk down your road and buy some fucking coronas. Like,
sorry, can't. Coronavirus, too dangerous.
I'm sorry. If you can, I'm sorry. No. You can do it. You'll be fine. Guess what, bitch? Guess what? guess what?
What, you just filmed me and put you on the fucking Instagram story because I got the notification?
Yeah, no, that too. I actually didn't pay attention to how you looked at the time. I was only looking at me. Let's have a revisit.
Hate you.
But I couldn't hear what you were saying. I was just like, you know what? I just needed to make it on a story so that I can post it onto Blahdidah. We gotta do the promotion. You know, it's a thing. You know, I hate it. We've talked about sorry. I'm fucking with the microphone. You know, we've been through this before in previous episodes. You know, I hate this shit, but you know, we need to do it. We need to promote the fucking shit. I need to pee again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that this is happening.
Do you have the bladder of an 80-year-old?
Yes. Okay, you've been out drinking with me enough to know that this is already a thing, okay?
Okay. On 1, 2, 3, we both go pee.
All right. Cut in 1, 2, 3, go! Yay! What were we talking about? What were we doing?
I don't know,
all right.
But I just reapplied my lipstick because
I love it.
I realized it was terrible before. I'm so sorry that I did not realize how bad it was before.
Babe, like, you are so lo-fi right now that it does not even come across. So what we were talking about at some point before were notifications popping up on your phone, and I wanted to talk to you about this because with me being on like dating apps now, I'm getting all these notifications like, you got 20 likes, and it's like, bitch, I know. Like, obviously I got lots of likes on Hinge. Like, I'm not at all fucking surprised, all right?
Oh my god, I'm Danny. I'm so hot. Everyone likes me.
Yes, okay. I'm gonna take it in my stride. Look, I'm not gonna pretend to be something that, like, I'm not gonna pretend to be less than I am, okay, because that's disrespectful. I wrote a whole fucking song about it, all right? It's just like, and it's a new song, and I really love it. But like, basically, I'm not gonna pretend that I don't see how fucking beautiful I am for the benefit of these boys who want to be fucking, they want to be fucking new in telling me that I'm fucking pretty. Like, bitch, I know. Bitch, I know. You're not telling me anything fucking special. But anyways, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with this fucking attention because the whole reason why I broke up, or that I broke up, but like me and my last partner kind of split apart, was to spend more time with myself. And I get
Then why did you download dating apps?
Because I was fucking bored during lockdown, okay? That's why. I got drunk one night, and I was bored during lockdown, and now that I have them and they're there, I get all this attention and notifications from all of these people. I can't fucking deal with it. It's the same thing with me and like my public Instagram account, where if I get more than like 5 DMs, I paralyze and I don't respond to anything for like 2 days.
Do you know what you need to do? You need to download fucking coloring book apps and do some mindfulness shit.
I do need mindfulness. That is the fact that you brought up the word mindfulness back into my life is like hella what I need right now, because my mind is like 1,000 thoughts per minute. Like, I can't focus on a thing.
Welcome to me every single day, but like mindfulness and me, it's like this. It just doesn't work. Like, as much as I would like to have that in my life, like right now, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. So I'm just going to continue drinking wine and eating some veggie chips, and it's fine.
I don't think I've drunk. Like, last time I got into the pod with you, I think I ended up with like this much left wine and the gin that I drank. I'm just gonna stop talking and drink myself and pull myself away. See, you know what's fucked? It's like, it's not even 10:15. This is what lockdown looks like. 10:15. Technically, it's 11:15 because we got like another hour because of.
Okay, no. So I just need to quickly check
our messages. That's cool. I need to check my messages too. Oh my god, stay woke. Oh, should I say that? Our awesome, amazing friend reacted to something or other. What's this? Oh my god, you can't just go and not tell us. was the most gross, disgusting sound.
So, y'all need to calm down. That was not that extreme.
It was exactly what I did. It was exactly what you sounded like. No cap. Like, that's exactly it. Tell us.
If this actual situation that I am maybe or maybe not exclaiming like you are making me sound like I am exclaiming like goes anywhere, I'm so beyond fucked.
We both are at this point. I think this is our best podcast at this point. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's hit it. Let's hit it and quit this shit. What's making you excited? Word for word, what did the message say? Luna, I love you. You're so perfect. Because if it's not that, then he doesn't deserve you.
It didn't say that, but like.
What did it say?
Well, I can't tell you because I'm not reading it right now, am I? And if I were
well,
to...
I think you should read it right now. I don't care if I don't see your face while we're reading.
Don't
act like the technology is not available, because it is.
So, I'm not going to read out... I get it.
I'm glad. So read the message to us, please. Have a little bit of fucking respect right now. And read the message.
See, this is what happens when you get a Pisces too much fucking alcohol.
I don't know why you need to bring the fucking zodiac into this, because it's really not appropriate right now, because it's not at all relevant.
Right now.
I couldn't even get through that, like, honestly.
Because you know I'm right.
I don't know what you're talking about, but read the message. I'm not dropping this. Read the message. Read the message. You can read the message. Read the message out, because we've already got it to this point. So if we disrespect the listeners by not reading it out, like, they're not gonna follow us, and the podcast is gonna fail, and it's gonna be on you, Luna. Oh no, I can see my Pisces misusing emotional manipulation and guilt right now, and I'm so sorry. Oh god. The fact
but
that
you are so not sorry at the
No, I actually am, because I'm trying to be super aware of my emotional manipulation, and everyone now can see how I just tried to work that, and I backtrack it, and I'm sorry that, like, I didn't even realize that I was doing it until I was doing it, and that's the fault of the Pisces. Like, it comes so naturally to emotionally manipulate people into feeling guilt, into doing whatever the fuck we want, because we like controlling situations. And now you can do whatever you want, babe. Let's change the subject. Let's do whatever. I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't guilt you into doing things that you don't want to do. You want to keep your secrets private. You keep your secrets private. I'm just fully up and down checking out myself and being like, are you sure about your life choices?
So basically, the last like 24 hours, I'll give you a synopsis. I'm not gonna say what's in the message, but like earlier in the podcast, like way earlier. Sorry if you've been with us this long and you've been putting up with all of this fucking bullshit.
You got through to the part 2.
You're the real fucking
MVPs.
That exact one that she just said. You are amazing. Love you. But basically, there's this situation that I'm in my life right now where I know I overreact way too fucking much to situations. Yet for some reason, I just can't seem to like get a handle on it. And I get in my head way too much about it. And this whole day, I've just been like, I fucked it up, like, because of how I reacted to a certain message that even, like, at the end of the day, wasn't even really that extreme, but I perceived it as being extreme, and so therefore, in my brain, it came across one way, and I really want a fucking brownie right now, and I fucking hate you for eating brownies.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just because I'm drunk and I need to try and like listen more Go back on your
All I
phone.
have is fucking veggie chips, and that's just not fixing the urge that I have right now. But anyway, this person just messaged me after me being in my head all day, basically, and I know that they didn't know that I was in my head all day, but basically the message that they sent was just like, you're cool, we're cool, it's all good, how are you? And I just...
For someone who freaks out a lot and gets in their head, that must be a relieving message to hear.
You actually have no idea. And like, I don't even know if this person realizes the importance of that message that they just sent, and if they watch this podcast, well then I'm fucked, because
They will.
I'm an emotional mess, and I kind of already hinted at that, but if you didn't figure it out by now, I am an emotional mess, like on a platter before you. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's really bizarre having to like realize how much you like. I don't know how to explain this to someone who doesn't feel this in the same way that I do, but maybe for those of you who do understand the way that, or similar at least, the way that I think, like, you will lay everything out there in terms of how you think you feel to someone after expressing to them a number of times you're emotionally vulnerable, you don't like sharing X, Y, and Z, and then you feel like you're at a point where you can show that side of you, and then they kind of unintentionally, of course, shut you down because they just don't get it. And like, that's no fault of their own. It's just because of the way that, for me anyway, the way that I feel things is so hard to express to another person who doesn't get it directly. Like, it comes off as being a lot less of an issue than it actually is. But anyway, I sort of like touched on that like a smidge, and then there was like minimal to no reply. And it was kind of like, I fucked it, everything's fucked, like, I've actually like done exactly what I was trying not to do. And then they reply. And like, whether or not they reply directly to what you were saying, like the fact that they replied just means so much. And I mean, maybe that might not even be that healthy. Not necessarily saying this is the most healthy situation that there ever was, but like the fact there is some kind of communication in itself compared to previous situations that I have been in where there has been like negative communication whatsoever in any form, is just like, wow, like this person actually genuinely wants to like have some kind of like interaction with me on like a semi-normal level, even though they know all of this shit about me. Does that make sense?
Actually, this is one of those things where, like, I know that a lot of the time when we talk about anxiety or whatever, we can't really relate. But this is actually one of those things where, like, I am so on board with what you're saying. And I think I come from, like, a slightly different perspective. But, like, I understand exactly, like, that relief. Because I am one of those people that, like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I want to tell you exactly how I feel about you, and I feel really intensely. Like I said, I'm 0 to 100, you know. That's not just about how I feel about people, but how I feel about myself, and any of my emotions just goes from like 0 to fucking the extreme. Like I'm just at the extremes at all points, which is like really frustrating. But like I am very also like honest in how I try and tell people about how I feel. And so I do that with people that I'm romantically interested in. And through what I've been through in my life, for some reason, I'm like attracted to people that are emotionally detached. So I find myself in a situation where I am expressing my feelings towards someone who can't quite respond in the same way. So I'm very used to that situation where like I'm expressing how I feel and someone doesn't respond, and I'm in this limbo of like, what the fuck is happening? And I feel like I've completely fucked everything because of how I've approached it, and I feel like I've done wrong. And then when they finally respond in a positive way, that relief that overcomes me, or if I've finally opened myself up to someone who is receptive and isn't completely emotionally detached and does give me that reassurance, like how much that fucking means to me. And it doesn't even need to be like I understand. It just needs to be I hear you. It doesn't need to be I understand how you feel. It's just I listen to what you say, and
it's like a drug.
Yeah,
it's like what I mean, obviously, I've never done heroin, hard as that may be to believe. But, like, it's what I imagine, like, a hit would be like. Like, it's an overwhelming sensation from, like, your head right down to your fucking toes. Like, as soon as you get that gratification or that recognition from someone else, it's just like, oh my God, my whole world is fine. And, like, that's not in any way, shape, or mean necessarily healthy, but that's just
what
how
happens.
it comes across. And like, yes, I'm trying to deal with that to make that the way that I react to that more of a healthy thing for myself long term. But that doesn't diminish the fact that as soon as it happens, like, I get that rush. I get that high. Like, it's at the moment, that's something that I feel, and that's just how I deal with the situation. And also, my lighting is fucking atrocious.
You
right
are
now.
beautiful as always. Guess what? Guess what though? Guess what though? Guess what? But you got to guess. Just pretend like it's the normal hangs and we're at the place that we always drink, and I turn to you and I'm like, I need to go do this thing. What is the thing that I need to go and do?
But you know what? The only place that we have regularly drunk at has been nowhere.
Let's call it nowhere. But like, let's say we're there and your girl needs to go pee. All right, I fucking love you. I'll be back in a sec.
Bitch. She's like, where do we regularly drink? We don't regularly drink anywhere. We have drunk together at a house party. We have drunk together at a barber store. We have drunk together at one of my favorite places in St. Kilda. We have drunk together at a place in the city. We've drunk together at a restaurant in the city. Like, there have been so many places that we have drunk together at. Like, it is ridiculous. But there is actually no regular. There is no medium. There is no, on average, you drink at X bar or X restaurant more than the other. Like, honestly, she's on crack and I don't know what she's doing with her life. Obviously, other than peeing right this exact second. But, yeah. This has been great. I'm so glad that we had this chat about dance, bladder movements, and like where we go drink, and But yeah. How's everyone else doing through this isolation? Are we all doing okay? Do we need some wine? Potentially. Do we need?
Can you handle that? You ain't ready for this work, so watch me do it back.
And she's back.
Yeah, not yet. Keep talking because I'm going to light some incense.
Okay. Well, basically, how are y'all doing through your isolation? Like, obviously, we're all in different parts of the world. Maybe you're all in Australia, like we are here. But I see your track pants.
Throw it back, back. Sorry. I'm gonna cut it out anyways. Go on, what you saying?
But how are y'all doing? Do you have food near you? Do you have grocery stores near you where you can access what you need to? Are you employed right now? Like, what are your regulations in your area? Like, in Australia, each state is different. I don't know if that's the same in America or if it's kind of like married up. Like, it's, I don't know, we're both in Victoria, but as I've said before, again, I don't know if we're going to be keeping this in, but like, I'm from Queensland originally. So I've got friends and family in Queensland who have different regulations from what we have down here. Like, is that the same in America? Is that the same in the UK? Is that the same in whatever country you're listening in? We are interested. We want to know, like, what is happening for you right now? Are you okay? Are you doing fine? Like, if there's anything that we can do to help you, obviously, given our current limitations, we will do everything we can. We'll provide you with any kind of information that you need. Obviously, though, this isn't going to be in depth depending on what country you're in because we're in Australia. But we want to help. We love you. We love people. I don't know. Talking lots of words.
You've done a really great job.
Really long time.
I'm so sorry. I was gone for a really long time, but I feel like you held it down. I really feel like you held it down. So let's talk about like social pressure for a sec, because like I was saying before, I'm getting all these notifications about how boys, whatever, like me on Hinge, and I'm getting like, oh, you have likes and all these messages. I'm like, I can't. As soon as I get more than like 4 messages, I freeze, and I'm like, I can't even fucking deal with that, and I just stop responding. Does that happen to you?
Absolutely.
I get
like 2 messages on Tinder because like I don't have Hinge. But I get like 2 messages on Tinder and I'm like, nope, can't deal with this. And I like literally don't touch the app for a month. And then I come back to it and they've either unmatched me or like I reply and they don't care. And like, that's fine. But it's just really overwhelming.
You sleepy, babe?
I'm not sleepy. I've just had a lot of wine.
I've also had a lot of wine. This would be like a great time to be like live. Well, this would be a great time to be live, and then people can just ask us questions when we're way too drunk. That would be a great thing.
I mean, maybe if we'd actually gotten our shit together and posted anything, now would be a good time to do a live, but we're not gonna.
We'll do it on the next one, and they'll be like, this would be a great time to do a live. And don't think that this is a single occasion to do a live, because we'll do a live.
We did this last time when we were like, next time we'll do a live. And
I could do a live right now if you really wanted to, but the thing is they won't be able to hear you. They'll only hear me because you're on the headphones.
I mean, you're the prettier one.
You know what? Stop. Don't even fucking mess with me right there. You know what? Let's do a live, you and me right now. I'm gonna ask you questions and you're gonna answer.
How is that gonna happen?
It's gonna happen. My hand grabbed my tarot cards and now we're doing things. It's just getting weird.
How are your tarot cards gonna protect
They're
your
fucking
life?
great. Don't even worry about them. What's this? What is this? Judgment?
I don't know.
This is the second time judgment. You know what? Our tarot cards are like, bitch, you've been drinking a lot. You've been drinking a lot, and we're judging.
We don't judge you.
We're judging you, and that's cool. You can judge us as much as you want, cards, but you're still at this party. Don't act for a second like you're not at this party. I dropped a card. Here we go.
Are you doing a live on Fancy or are you doing a live on Blahdidah?
I'm not doing live. I'm doing videos with you. I can do. This is the exact, 3 of Swords and Queen of Swords. What's up, Luna? I see your face. What's up? Can you tell me what this is about? Can you please fucking, like, explain?
What am I
Wanna
reading
explain?
first? Am I reading Queen of Swords or am I reading
They're
the
together.
other?
They're together, obviously.
Yeah, but one comes before two. So which one is first?
The Queen of Swords, the clarifier. Obviously.
Thank you so much for clarifying for me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
BRB in 2 moments.
Alright, that's cool. She's gonna BRB. Let's put the star.
Do you know what's interesting, just whilst I'm doing this? The way that Dan and I read tarot cards is fucking completely different. So she is like 100% fucking organic from like beginning to end. Whereas with me, I'm like, okay, so I like to reference the origin of the card, but then depending on the individual, I will then mold that to fit them. So what are your opinions on that? Like, obviously, if you don't believe in tarot, I don't give a fuck. She don't give a fuck.
Let's be real for a sec. Okay, yes, I agree that you'll mold them to the person, but also so will I. The only reason you assume that I don't mold them to a person is because, bitch, you don't tell me what's going on with you. You're just like, draw a card for me, and you give me no information. You wonder why I don't mold to the situation. Bitch, you give me nothing. You give me nothing, okay? So don't thinking this is the way that I read everyone, bitch. That's how I read you, because you give me nothing. I'm just gonna shuffle. I'm just gonna shuffle and leave it there, okay? You know I'm right. You think this is how I read everyone? Fuck up.
No, that's not what I mean. But like when you read, like as you were saying before, when you read cards, you're like, you get the person to like read from the card. Like, what do you take from this card first? Yeah. Whereas I don't do that. When I look at a card, and regardless of whether I'm reading for someone else or reading for myself, you are actually shuffling those cards. Whether I read for myself or for someone else, like, what is... Honestly, ladies,
just go on. Just keep talking. Just keep fucking talking, Lena.
So when I read cards, I read it from, like, obviously Dan will get the other person to interpret their meaning first, right? Based off what she said earlier in this exact same podcast. Whereas I don't realistically at the beginning stages take that interpretation into consideration. Like, obvious. Why are you angrily still shuffling?
Because for dramatic effect, obviously, because I'm a fucking Pisces. Can you keep talking? Okay, just I'm listening to you. I'm just doing this for dramatic effect, and also it's fun, and the cards can get to know me better. Like, you know this. Just...
Yeah, that's true. See, I get to know my cards, but I feel like the way that I know my cards is a completely different way from the way that Dan knows her cards. Like, I will, instead of asking the cards questions, so to speak, when I ask the question that the other person wants me to ask, or that I want to ask the cards, I do it in a manner that is, I don't know, appreciating the significance of where those cards and where my goddesses and where my influences come from. I'm a very goddess influence person. Like, obviously everyone is so different in terms of where they reference their cards, but I'm primarily female based. That's why when I read my decks, the deck that I primarily used is my Sacred Female deck, because I believe that at the end of the day, females rule the fucking world, if I'm going to be completely
100%.
honest with
100%.
you. Like, it's
Can't
just,
disagree.
but I think as well with the way that that deck itself works is because Dan is a very visual learner, and whereas I'm a very matter-of-fact learner, it changes the way in which we read the cards, even though we're reading from the same deck. So she'll see one meaning from a set of cards, and I will see a completely different meaning because she's going off what she sees, whereas I'm going off the meaning that I have learned of those cards, and then based off of that, how I feel. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I can't ask the people because you're the only one here
for
with
the
me.
most part, it makes sense. I think you're also taking into account that, like, you know what, for the most part it makes sense. I'm just gonna leave it there. For the most part, what you said has made sense. I think it needs further elaboration on my part, but that'll come in time. That'll come in time when people understand, like, actually how I read, because I read everyone differently depending on, like, for you example, I'll read you based exactly on what I see because you give me fucking nothing. You'll just, like, draw me a card right now, and you don't want to tell me what's going on, except that you're like, you're really confused and you're so lost, but you don't want to give me the details of the situation, so I can't give you anything specific. I'm just like, all right, cool, this is what my eye is drawn to, so this is what I think. Whereas, like, some people are going to give me really specific things based on what I show them, and then I can give you them more specific readings. But for the most part, yeah. Let's go with what you said.
Because I'm just that kind of Libra who doesn't like to give away too much.
Yeah, I know. Bitch, we know. You think we got to the third podcast and we don't know this shit? We know. Fuck. We know that you, like, pretend to give away who you are, except totally at all, you're not at all telling us who you are because you're, like, this elaborate mystery. That's got a lot to do with your Scorpio, actually. Why is the Knave of Cups reversed for you right now? Why is this reversed? Let's get a clarifying card on that, yeah?
I hate that she's reading my cards live.
No, I'm reading a lot of other cards, but I just know that that one's for you. And let's just cut the deck and let's just flip up. The King of Wands reversed. And the Nine of Wands. Let's go. Let's look at this shit up because these cards aren't very, like, specific. I feel like there's a block. There's a blockage. Somewhere.
There's always a fucking blockage with me. That's, like, the story of my fucking life.
Stamina, discipline, strength in adversity, good powers of recovery and healing after injury, accident or illness. Preparing well ahead. Usually you feel like you like preparing ahead of shit, you know? And this boy doesn't let you do that, you know? It doesn't give you time for that. That's what frustrates you. Maybe, I don't know. Like I'm talking about, I'm drunk.
That's exactly what frustrates me.
Of course it would. Fucking right. Here we go. Go to the bathroom. Fucking. I'm just hanging out with my cards. That's just what I want to do. I'm not shuffling aggressively. I feel like I don't know these cards very well. My other cards know me. They're all sassy.
You're always shuffling aggressively because you're a fucking Pisces and you're in tune with that shit. It's not a bad thing. It's just who you are as a person. Yeah, exactly. Next card.
I drew a bunch of other cards. No, I drew them. They popped out. Ace of Wands, the Five of Swords, the Seven of Coins. So I don't know what that's about. What my first, without, like, seeing anything, is that, like, some big great idea is starting, and there is some, like, movement through that is needed in order to, there's movement needed through it, but there's also time that is needed for it to develop. So maybe that's sad about the podcast. We've got this good idea, but we really need to put in time to kind of develop the idea, and then we need to give it patience for it to grow. Maybe that's what that is. But I don't know anything else. That's all I'm kind of getting from that without having to look in the book. And I really don't like looking in the book too much. I kind of
Yeah,
want to
and see, that's exactly where you and I are opposite. See, I always look in the book, and then dependent on what I find from the book, I then apply that to the person, whereas you're the complete opposite. You are always like, nah, fuck the book. Like, I'll take what I can from this and then apply.
Yeah, because I find that the book, like, it can bring some clarification, and it has for a long time. I've looked at the book and brought me, like, symbolism and certain themes to bring with it, but especially with this new deck, with how it presents itself, like, and for the most part, I try and be like, look, despite the book, like, I feel like the book at the end of the day, and all of these kinds of apps and definitions they give you, they're just breaking down symbolism, and the symbols are going to mean different things, and like what is going to resonate best with you, because the definition and the symbol that they give you in the book is always going to be whatever the fuck the card represents. But when you're presented with that card, your eye is going to be drawn to something in particular, and that is going to be the thing that you are meant to think about, because the card that is shown is always going to be something that is supposed to resonate with you. The card is going to be shown because that it needs for you to see that, and it's going to be a card that is going to make sense for you. Okay, so that's why I feel like, yes, this card can have 5 different meanings, but for right now it's showing up because there is one specific meaning that it knows that you're going to resonate with. So that's why I always try and go with the visual first, because yes, it can have 5 different meanings, but for right now it's trying to draw my eye to whatever I'm instinctively going towards. And that is why I try and base it off that. I've spent a long time going through the books and going through different apps, understanding the different themes and like the different lessons that it can bring. And so now that I've gone through that process, I'm just trying to go off instinctively what I feel like I still have a lot of learning to do, and I'm still going to be checking the books. Don't think that I'm not checking the books, because a lot of the time that I am, especially when I'm reading myself, because that is when I find the least amount of clarity, because I'm so in my head, like I really don't understand. But I'm trying to read what the cards are trying to show me that are going to make sense at that time. So
I think it's funny how, again, we're like so opposite. When I read myself in terms of cards, I read off what's right there. Whereas when I read other people, I'm like, always reference the book first and then take what I feel from those cards and use the two together. Whereas you're the opposite. You always go off what you feel first and then maybe check the books if you're unsure.
Yeah, I'll check the books by myself all the time, but with other people, I'm just like, whatever the fuck my eye goes to, yeah.
It's so funny. It's actually bizarre. But like, it's not a bad thing. It just shows you how different tarot can be. And like, this isn't necessarily saying that me, myself, or you are like the best readers out there, but like, depending on the reader you go to, you are going to get a completely different reading. It depends on what you want, what your vibe is. You really have to have that connection with the reader who is reading your cards to honestly get the best value for money or the best experience from those cards. Like, at the end of the day, it's not just, and even then, like, it's not just a matter of what you get from those cards that reader picks for you. It's a matter of the deck that they pick, like the question that you ask, the way in which they ask the question. Like, there are so many different variables that you have to factor in that, like, if you're not experienced with tarot, you don't know this. And again, this isn't necessarily saying that you have to be experienced with tarot to ask the right question to get the right answer. No, like that's not what we're saying. Well, what I'm saying anyway. Danny could believe completely differently to what I believe.
Not at all,
but like,
not at all.
there are so many different things that you have to make sure that you take into consideration when you get someone else to read your cards. Like, yeah, I'll do general Instagram readings on my Instagram, but I stress they are general. If you want an individual reading, you come to me, I read you individually. But again, like, over social media, it's not that clear. Like, I'll be completely honest with you, I can give you to a certain level, but unless I see you, unless I feel the vibe that you're giving off on that day, what your question is, whether you have an item or not, what your hands feel like when I touch you, like, that might sound weird to you, but like, again, unless you read cards or unless you have an understanding for reading cards, like, you won't necessarily get that, and that's totally fine. But all of these things are part of the process. Like, the energy that you give off is so vital to how your cards are read. Like, I'm lucky that Dan and I can do this right now. Like, we've met countless times in person, whether it be as friends, whether it be as like client or whatever. But like, we have that understanding of our relationship as we are now, so that we get the dynamic between us. Like, we didn't start like this. It was completely different. But we're at a point now where I feel like I could accurately read her cards without being in front of her, and she can accurately read my cards without me being in front of her, and whether that be oracle or tarot or anything in between. Like, I feel like even in terms of like emotions, like, I can gauge her emotionally from what she gives off to me in a conversation, whether that be like what we're doing now or whether that be text or whatever. Like, I get that. But until you meet someone in person, until you have that interaction on a personal level, I don't think you can understand that.
Yeah.
You can do the best that you can, and sometimes that 100% works.
Yeah.
But without that, there's not always going to be that 100% authenticity, 100% accuracy that you need for these specific things, like tarot, like oracle, like any kind of future prediction, whatever that you want to call it.
Yeah.
You just can't do that, in my opinion. You could be completely different, but that's just me.
I think that it's like, and I also, coming from my perspective, and I'm always going to bring everything back to music because that's my one true like passion in life and everything, is that like, you could be learning piano and learning how to sing for 2 months, and you're going to play a song and it's going to sound right, just about right. It's going to sound better and more accurate if you've been playing for 2 years. And if you've been playing for 2 years and you've got a certain style, you're gonna hit certain emotions in a different way. And if you're into a different style after that, like if you're more into the R&B and you're into the metal as well, you're going to hit a different emotion in a different way. And I feel like all of this stuff is practice and it's getting to know it. So I feel like going through something like an art discipline gives you the patience to understand that everyone's on their journey. Again, we're drunk and we're getting onto it, but like, it's going to be accurate. And if you're more practiced at it and you've got a certain style, you're going to hit on certain themes in a different and better, more accurate way. But like, I understand when people are reading me, for the most part, they're right. And if they've been reading for a longer time and they're more in tune with those different things, then they're probably going to get hit things a little bit more accurately. But at the end of the day, we're all just on our journey. Someone's been reading for 2 months, they might not be as in tune or as practiced at understanding the themes as someone who's been reading for 2 years or 20 years, you know. People who are into this stuff, they're gonna be patient with that, they're gonna be okay with that, they're gonna understand that. And I feel like if you're coming into this cold and you're like, you don't get it, like, that's fine. Maybe there are people that have been reading for a lot longer time that maybe can read you more accurately. But if you're not open to the journey, like, it's got to be open. You just got to be open to it, you know?
And that's it. Like, you, regardless of where you start, regardless of whether you get someone who is super experienced to read you for the first time, or whether you get someone like us who's like experience, but not like on the same level of someone who's like a qualified like spiritualist
Tarotverse.
or whatever.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
exactly. Like, I mean, if he read me for the first time that I ever had my tarots read, I would literally drop on the fucking floor.
I am so ready to
Even if
pay
he
the
read me
$44,
now, I
$44
would
US dollars that it takes to get a fucking personal reading. He's so fucking good. Like,
yeah, exactly. But like, there is so much to learn. And it's all so personal. Like, you can't just, like, I mean, yeah, I reference the book a lot, but it's different. Like, in some ways, I envy Dan in the way that she reads her cards because it is so personalized. Whereas with me, I will use that book as the anchor, but obviously I'll personalize it to you. But that is my primary like reference point. Whereas she doesn't need that. She can just be like, yeah, this is how you are, this is your situation, like as I feel. And she's so confident to give that. Whereas I'm not confident in being like, yeah, this is where I see that you're at, this is it. Like, I can't. Like, I've tried to do that, but it doesn't feel natural to me. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean that Dan's wrong. It just means that we are on a different journey with how we understand what we're trying to get at. So tarot, basically.
I don't want you thinking that came naturally, all right? It came from like a very close friend of mine at the time being like, reading the book is bullshit. You are a shit person for thinking about you even need to think like about the book. And you are a trash person if you don't fucking burn that book right now. So don't think that all of this shit came from a positive place, okay? This came from like severe peer pressure that like I was doing it wrong for even needing the book. And it's only now that I'm like, you know what? Everyone reads and learns in a different way. And I am so on board with people that want to use the book. And I do not feel guilty about the times that I turn to the book or I turn to an app for all that separate meaning. But it completely came from a place of negativity. So
exactly. Like, you can't, like, as good as you are, I honestly don't believe that you can just use your intuition as a guide. Like, obviously, your intuition can be strong. That's what's there for you. But that can't solely, in my opinion only, be what's your reference point. There has to be more of an anchor that's a little bit more solid than just intuition. But again, could be wrong. Probably am wrong.
no,
But
not at all. It's because there's a history to the symbolism. There is like certain types of like pagan and Egyptian astrology and religion that is represented in these cards, and it's kind of part of knowing the history of just general human existence and knowing what that meant to the people of that time, that symbolizes the emotion and the action that is being represented in the card. That's what the symbolism is representing, and it's that metaphor that it's trying to get across. So it's not always like what we see. Sometimes it's a lot of the symbolism, and you need to understand the history. And if you don't off the top of your head know Egyptian history, no pagan history, no medieval history, like you're gonna need to look that shit up, because it's always it's from much older times, and they're relating to people in that time period to understand that symbolism, to understand what it's referring to. It's not relevant now. Sometimes we need to look that shit up to be like, what does that actually mean and how does that apply? I get it, you know.
And again, like, I feel like unless you're new, like unless this is your first life, but realistically, I think that but if this is your first life, you would not have a connection to this kind of side of you that you that you and I would. I honestly, like, without sounding too like batshit crazy, I think this is at least my like fifth life. I can't 100%.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because I mean, again, I probably sound batshit crazy, but at the end of the day, I think that you have at least between 15 to 20 lives. And within those lifetimes that you have, whether it's between 1 to the 20th or 1 to the 15th, you can, if you in your first life get from like 1 to 100 in the sense that you achieve every single goal that you are meant to achieve with the person that you are, the soul, that like core that you are within that lifetime, you're fucking amazing. You deserve like 20 million gold medals. However, I personally don't think that that's happened to me. I think that I'm at least my fifth. And I have another 15 to go in terms of achieving that full like knowledge. And once I achieve that knowledge, do I know what happens? No fucking idea. Not a clue. Am I gonna live? Am I gonna die? No. It's fucking me. But I think that you have between 1 to 15, 1 to 20 chances to relive your life, learn everything that you need to know. What happens to you after you learn everything that you need to know? Don't know. Wouldn't be able to tell you. If you go into some kind of collective conscious that everyone has that improves human race, don't know. But then based off what we have in this lifetime, don't know about last couple of lifetimes that we've had, but this lifetime, is technology hindering that? Again, don't know about last lifetimes, but absolutely. It's hard. Like, it's fucking hard to connect with one person, let alone multiple people on a deep fucking level. And I think that that's what helps us get to that next stage to elevate our like cycle, so to speak, if that makes sense. I don't know. I've had a lot of fucking wine. Could be completely
You
drunk.
have had a lot of fucking wine, and you're touching on some real shit. And you know how we talk about me not like experiencing anxiety very much? Yeah, having a full-blown panic attack about what the fuck you're talking about right now. And it's really interesting to me about how like this is clearly driving me into a panic attack. And I think it's because I'm like thinking very seriously about my purpose in life, and I have a lot of thoughts about it.
I'm sorry.
And it's sending me into a fucking spiral right now.
I'm sorry.
It's cool. You know what? I am going to drink more. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And during that time, I'm going to...
just went to the bathroom.
Bish, you know this happens every time we hang out. Every time we drink together. You know I'm about to go to the fucking bathroom after you say anything. But also particularly because I'm about to cry because you made me think about my life's purpose. And that gets me going. And this is why I don't get anxious all the time, because most people don't make me think about this stuff and in terms of like how many lives you have and like what you're supposed to do. And now I'm really thinking about my life's purpose and my life's journey, and I think I know what that is, and I think I'm not on that path, and like I feel like I'm denying myself that path, and that fucks with me. That really, really fucks with me in a really, really big way. Not much shit fucks with me except for like whether or not I'm on the right path that I'm supposed to be on in terms of fulfilling the things that I'm Okay, I'm having trouble breathing. All right, I'm gonna drink in the bathroom. You gonna.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's not your fault. I'm just gonna. Back a second. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Did I just fuck Danny up? I feel like I did. It was not intentional. I don't know. I think about this shit, you know. Not a lot of people do. and that's totally fine. But I don't know. I feel like in terms of your journey within life, like this is definitely not her first life, but she is definitely young. Like, she is a young fucking soul in terms of the bigger picture. And that's, again, not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing. And I'm really drunk. And I think I'm an old soul. Maybe I'm not an old soul. Maybe I'm a young soul. But I know for sure I had at least 3 different past lives. Again, you'll probably think I'm crazy, but I'm not. It's a real thing. Past lives are a real thing. But yeah. Anyway, it's
What's
just a lot.
What's a lot? What's a lot?
I was just talking about how, like, past lives, like, you can learn a lot from. Am I freaking you out? I'm
Sorry.
so
You know what's
sorry.
freaking you out is that, like, just like what's freaking me out. We're gonna talk about past lives. It was freaking me out the most is that I don't get anxious a lot. And now I am getting anxious, and it's because we're talking about things that I think that I avoid a lot of the time, and it's constantly on my mind, but also I push it out of my mind and try and justify it in different certain ways, and it's kind of been brought to my attention the way that it's being recorded. It's just making me really short of breath, and making me want to avoid stuff, which is fine. But I just kind of want to
Have more wine.
Look, I've actually finished my bottles of wine. I do have more gin though, so I will continue to drink that. I will. I just think that it's what's freaking me out the most is that it is making me so anxious. So it's just one of those things that I'm just very unfamiliar with, because like I've said before in previous podcasts, I'm not very, like, it's not a thing that I usually deal with, is being anxious a lot. So the fact that I am getting anxious about something is very fresh and new to me. I'm happy to deal with it, and it's cool, and I'm happy to, like, it's fine, and I recognize what it is that is making me feel that way, and it's because it's this duality that I struggle with in my head, and I'm struggling to justify with, and it's this, like, constant confusion that's going with me. I'm okay with it, but it's just one of those things that I'm on my journey with, so.
Okay, well, if this is something that you constantly struggle with, put down your wine / your drink for 1 second. And I want you to focus on the words that I'm saying right now, and I want you to sit in a posture that you feel comfortable. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's the correct posture, it's just a way that you feel comfortable. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take a big breath in, probably one of the biggest breaths that you've ever taken in your entire life. And I want you to hold it for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. And when you release this, I want you to release it really slowly. So not all in one go, but just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I want you to do the same thing that you did just then, exactly the same. Keep your eyes closed, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, and then release for 5. So in, 1, 2, 3, and then release for 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you release, keep your eyes closed, don't open them. I want you to, like, move your fingers and move on both hands and also your toes. And I want you to feel the sensation on all of those limbs right now. And keep breathing as well whilst you do this. Don't hold your breath. And then I want you to open your eyes slowly and when you're ready. Okay.
I'm good.
How you feeling?
I'm good. That's just...
Feel better?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of confronting things that I feel like I've like kind of come to the point of confronting but kind of pushed to the background for a while. And I think that's I'm at that point of like that tower moment where I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with my like life purpose, and you really kind of brought that to the forefront. Because I'm kind of
okay.
It's
and I think
yeah,
it's scary. I think when people talk about past lives and like current lives, because I think that I'm at a point where I've experienced enough past lives where I can recognize my current life from my past life. Whereas I think that you've had more than one life, but I don't think you've had enough lives where you can recognize all of your past lives and your existing life. I think that your existing life that you're in right now, where you're Dan/Danny, depending on which perspective you see it from, is your only life. Whereas I know that my life that I'm in right now, I've had at least 3 before that, at very, very minimum. And I'm okay with that. And that's comfortable for me to admit that. And that's not saying that you're wrong not being able to admit that you've had that, but you're not at a point where you're ready to accept that. And that, again, is not a bad thing, because that's something that you have to come to terms with. But again, to someone who doesn't believe in this shit, I probably sound fucking batshit crazy. But I think that this reaction right now that you're having from what I'm saying is enough proof to say that this is maybe even a little bit legitimate.
See, I don't know. Do you feel like it's because you've had past life regression stuff that you've gone through? Because I know that past lives are a thing. The thing that I'm struggling most with is where my path is going. Because I know that my job I'm very naturally good at. And I feel like part of me is pushing towards me continuing doing that, where I help people find their happiness within themselves. And I feel like part of my path is just to keep doing that. Part of my calling is to help people doing that. And I don't know whether or not that is a thing that is meant for me, or if I'm backing out of my true dreams of succeeding at what it is that I want to succeed. But then I don't know if what I want to succeed in is in being performing and doing all that kind of stuff is like a true calling, or if that's what I'm doing for vanity. Like, I don't know. And I'm torn between these two things. So anytime I think about like, what is my true calling, I start panicking because I don't know what the difference is. I don't know which one is the truer path. So I start panicking because I don't know which one I'm supposed to go towards. And I'm trying to go towards both at the same time. And I feel like I'm failing at both because I'm trying to spread myself too thinly.
But each life that you have, if we're talking about like this whole past life reconnection, whatever, is individual to the other. There will be similarities between each one, sure. But what you want, what you gain, what you learn in this life is completely separate from the one that you had before. Sure, there'll be lessons that you should have, that not necessarily should have, but you've learned in your last life that you've overlapped on in this one, but that's not necessarily saying that this life and that life are connected. The person that you are, in my opinion anyway, is different depending on the life that you're on. Again, I probably sound like a crazy person, but your soul that you have is the same regardless of what skin, what body you're in. But depending on what skin, what body you're in, what time period you're in, is going to change the wants, the needs, the desires that you have at that time. At the core, though, you are the same person that you are in this life that you were in the life that you were before. In the life that I was before, I've had some like reconnecting things done. I was potentially in some kind of, not necessarily Amazonian, but in that kind of a lifestyle where we were very forest based, where we were very like earth based, where it was very much like there were people invading us with technology that we had never seen before, with something that was completely new. And I mean, obviously, I'm not great with technology right now, but like it's a completely different feeling having like the vivid connection of being in like a stream playing with my son, and then all of a sudden being like scared and just alone, I guess, and trying to find something. Maybe it was my son, maybe it was a child that I had at the time that was missing, trying to hide again at the same time from this power that was there that just seemed so undefeatable, and then being hit by that. Like, and again, I know I sound crazy and it's not something that everyone experiences, but from what I've gotten from the experience that I had the first time, the second time I had a reconnection with the same person, I might add, of a past life. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But the first time, like, I swear to God, it was like reliving a memory. Like, it was like it happened yesterday. Like, I remember, like, it was something that I've never felt before. I don't think it's possible unless you've actually been in that position to feel before. Again, call me crazy, call me whatever you want, but unless you have had that experience yourself, comment below if you've had that experience of like a reconnection or something. Like, it's just, it, when it happens, like this feeling on your body, and like when they encourage you to let go, like you want to let go because you don't want to have that follow you, but then you also don't want to let go because that was something that you had, that was something that was important, it was part of you. But if you don't let go, then who are you now? Like, again, you're a completely different person 200 years ago than what you are now. Like, I mean, this, in my opinion, this reconnection that I had was like 300 to 400 years ago from what I am now. Anything in between, I don't have any recollection of. Could have happened, could have not happened, could have been a lifetime there. It's just not as strong as the one that I felt. But this was some like Amazonian shit. Like, my land is being invaded by like these foreign people with guns, with technology, and they killed me.
Dude, I'm crying. Like, I can't even.
Like, well, I was fucking crying when this happened. Like, I was trying not to get too deep but from my recollection of what this event was, my child, I think, again, not 100% certain, but I had a boy and I had a girl, and my girl was safe. She was fine. But we couldn't find my boy. And he was maybe like just in his teens. He was definitely older than she was. But he was, just old enough to be like considered at the time, again, the man. And we couldn't find him. And my husband, my whatever it was at the time, hid my daughter, but I was too fucking stubborn. Not much has changed to go and find my boy. And whilst I was finding my boy, they shot me, or they spear and arrowed me, whatever it was. But I was wounded severely, so much so that I was not able to heal. And whether, again, at this point, I don't know. I think, though, my husband, my partner, whatever it was able to find me, and due to only this past life reconnection, I was able to be in touch with my son from a past life. And I know, again, that this sounds so crazy, but the feeling that I had when this happened, oh my god, I'm sorry, but the feeling that I had when this happened, and being joined with him again, was something that I have never in my life felt before. Like, I can't explain, like, what it was. Like, and I mean, again, I know this sounds like bullshit, but like, there is, and again, I'm 20 fucking 4 years old. Well, oops, you all know my age now. But like, like, having that connection is just something that I cannot, I just, yeah. And like, I've let go of that emotion now. Like, that is what it is. Like, it was amazing. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, it almost felt like I could actually touch him, even though it's like hundreds of years apart. But having that, just, I don't know, you have to experience it to be able to relate to it. And that's such a shitty thing to say, but it is what it is. And I mean, again, like 2 years later, I went back and I had like a reconnection with the past life, and I didn't get the same feeling. Same guy did it. It's the first time, so it wasn't even like, it was like, oh, a different guy, judgy guy. Like, same guy did the exact same process, but I just didn't get that same connection that I did the first time. And maybe that's because it was that that particular life that I hadn't had that proper healing from. But I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I went on like a really long tangent about that.
That was intense. That was insane. I was crying. Fucking hell. It makes me want to, like, I've been interested in past life regression. The only thing that stopped me from doing it is like the cost of it, obviously. And I'm not trying to say that like people are trying to scam you, because I feel like there are people, but I also feel like there are people that have a gift and they are like, yo, I gotta make a living off of this stuff. So I totally respect those people that are like, I am going to charge you for this thing. Like, I charge people for my music. I totally get it. Like, I could do it for free, but also I got to make money. Like, I get that. So I'm not going to like knock those people, but there are also those people who are making music who aren't very good. They're going to charge anyway. So like, there are people that are amazing at it, and there are people who are not so amazing at it, and you've clearly had an experience with someone who has made a real connection with you, and so I'm not going to knock that at all. The only thing that is in the past stopped me from doing that kind of thing is that at that time I wasn't financially equipped to kind of pay for that.
Absolutely. And that's the fucking saddest thing about this kind of a situation, in my opinion, honestly. Like, to be able to heal, to be able to connect on the level that I did with that experience, you have to have a certain amount in your bank account. And like 9 times out of 10, if you need that kind of healing, you don't have that amount of money in your bank account.
It's like the same thing with like, okay, it's not, it might be really trivial for me to say this, but like doctors charge, there might be doctors that are out there doing it for free, and it's only because they've got some other way to make a living. But most doctors fucking charge. Yeah, they could do it for free. And you could be like, well, if you can heal people, why aren't you doing it for free? Why do you need to make money off of it? Because you got to fucking live, because we live in a capitalist society. So you can say the same shit that you do about tarot readers. And there are doctors out there that and nutritionists out there that are fucking crocs that are saying I can heal cancer from this thing and that other thing. Yeah, there are going to be people that are out there that have true gifts and true knowledge to help you, and there are going to be people that are not, and they're going to make money off of it. It's any fucking thing. Same with music, same with art, same with anything. Like, people making knockoff fucking handbags. Like, it's the same fucking shit, all right? There are good people and bad people in the world. That's not to say that every person with some spiritual gift is a complete fucking liar. No. Some people have these gifts and they still need to make money, like, because we live in that kind of society. So I'm not about to say that they're all full of shit, because they're not. Yeah.
And then that's not even to say that if someone has a spiritual gift that 100% of the time they're on point, because that's not possible. In my opinion, you can have a spiritual gift and you can be way fucking off sometimes, and you can be on point other times. Like, it's fucking life, man. You can't expect yourself to be a-okay 100% all the time, regardless of what it is you do. Like, if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't be 100% of that all the time. It's just not actually statistically possible. If you are a spiritual healer, you can be 100% one time, you can be 80% another time, you can be 60% another time. Same with if you're a medical practitioner. You can be 60% one time. It's not in our human nature to be 100% all of the time. It is not scientifically possible. And if anyone expects that of you, whether it be a relationship, an employer, a family member, a friend, you should honestly go tell them to fuck themselves, because it is not possible. Not possible. Look at any kind of scientific data on the matter. Not possible. No way. No fucking way. Is it possible? Sometimes I think Dan's a bitch. Sometimes she thinks I'm a bitch. It fucking happens. We're friends. We deal with it. It's just the way that life works. The cookie crumbles as such. You gotta deal with that shit.
Yeah, 100%. I can't believe you just called me a bitch. That's fine.
You're such a fucking Pisces, honestly.
I am like the ultimate fucking Pisces. If you ever meet a fucking Pisces, you're just gonna be like, at least you're not fucking Dan, you know?
Also, my lighting is terrible. Again, I apologize.
You're
for
so
anyone.
beautiful. Everything you do is beautiful though. Oh my god. I can't even with you. And your negative self-talk. I can't deal with it.
I'm low lit because I'm dark and mysterious.
Dark and mysterious. Is that the synonymous words we're using with emo? Because I'm cool with that.
Fuck you, okay?
I love you so much. I love you so much. Everything you do to me is perfect.
Does anyone else see this as emotional blackmail? Because I fucking do right now.
All sees it. They totally see it.
Oh,
so funny. That was so funny. Everything I do was so funny. Guess what? Guess what the time is? She's gone. Guess what the time is?
What time is it?
It's 11:30, babe. We've been talking for so long, so I think this is the time. I think this is the time to call it. Like, we've done 2 parts right now. Let's say we started at like 10 to 8, because I was definitely waiting for you at like 7:45.
Have fucking fun editing this bullshit.
And it's like 3 and a bit hours, so this is a 2-parter right now. It's cool because we're gonna upload it after this. It's a 2-parter. If you're in it, you're in it, you know. You better be fucking drunk by this point. You should know better than to not be fucking drunk.
We'll put drinking games in the description.
Yeah, drink every time Danny touches her hair, you know. Drink every time Luna does something cute, you know. You'd be drinking the whole time. All right, I'm gonna stop recording.
Or drink every time Luna readjusts her angle because she's a self-conscious bitch. But you know,
that's not gonna be as often as you're cute. What's up? All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.